Chapter 83, Chapter 83, Chapter 83. Entry Level of Golden Sun Refining Technique. Chapter 83, Chapter 83. Entry Level of Golden Sun Refining Technique. Name: Lu Yun. Power: Flying Spirit Martial Academy. Martial Arts: Breaking Wind Saber Technique. Perfection: Cannot be promoted. Mix Origin Technique. Perceived Truth. Cannot be promoted. Pure Yang Aura. Perceived Truth. Cannot be promoted. 7 Kill Saber Technique. Reach Profound. Cannot be promoted. Black Tiger Saber Technique. Perfection. Cannot be promoted. Gale Thunder Flash Step. Great Accomplishment. 20%. Golden Sun Refining Technique. Pre-entry. Innate Talent. Level 6 Martial Arts. Meridian Passage Realm Peak. 14 meridians. 12 positive meridians. Rinine Meridian. Duyang Meridian. B0XO. Energy Value. 1 Conception. Slaughter Conception. First rank 5%. After upgrading the Black Tiger Saber Technique and Gale Thunder Flash Step by 1 level each, Lu Yun's energy value was left with only 1. Among them, the Black Tiger Saber Technique had reached its limit when it was upgraded to perfection. Of the 7 martial arts, Gale Thunder Flash Step had already reached great accomplishment and could continue to be upgraded. As for the remaining Golden Sun Refining Technique, although it had not yet reached entry level, he had enough confidence to cultivate it to entry level in a short time. So many martial arts made Lu Yun feel somewhat unreal. It would already be considered a heaven-defying talent if someone could upgrade one of them to perfection in such a short time. But Lu Yun had upgraded all of them to their limits, and even had a conception on his body. Looking at the introduction of the long list of martial arts in the panel, Lu Yun thought that it would be great if he could hide or merge them with each other. Every time he opened the panel in the future, he would see an endless list of martial arts, which gave him a headache. Shaking his head slightly, after eliminating the unrealistic thoughts, Lu Yun focused and began to practice the Golden Sun Refining Technique. As long as he refined the true qi in his whole body once, the Golden Sun Refining Technique would be considered entry level. All of Lu Yun's true qi had been transformed into pure Yang Aura. What he had to do was refine the pure Yang Aura. After refining the pure Yang Aura 9, or 10 times, transforming it into pure Yang Strong Origin, it would become the Transforming Origin Realm. How long will it take for my first refining, since my pure Yang Aura is more than 10 times that of others? The first refining of true qi is the simplest and takes the shortest time. The further along, the more difficult it becomes to refine true qi, and the longer it takes. Lu Yun was deeply focused. Since comprehending the slaughter conception, he could introspect his dantian. Before that, he could only have a vague understanding. In the dantian, pure Yang Aura was like a big sun with the highest temperature in the middle and a halo on the edge. Before opening the Rinine Meridian and Duyang Meridian, there was a lot of pure Yang Aura, but it didn't overflow the dantian. There was also a benefit. The overflowing pure Yang Aura in the dantian would not overflow out of the body but flow through various parts of the body, subtly enhancing Lu Yun's physical body. Exiting introspection, Lu Yun had a rough understanding of the changes in his body. If he didn't cultivate and let this pure Yang Aura enhance his body, in just 1 or 2 years, his body would be so strong that it wouldn't fear any weapon below a true artifact. Obviously, this was the characteristic of pure Yang Aura, extremely rigid and yang. Focusing his mind, Lu Yun sat cross-legged on the bed and began to refine his aura according to the Golden Sun Refining Technique. Time slowly passed. In the blink of an eye, 10 days had passed. Lu Yun came out of his cultivation state, and after 10 days of hard work, he was close to refining 60% of his aura. It had to be said that the amount of his pure Yang Aura was really too much completely beyond his imagination. This made him both happy and depressed. His level 6 innate talent placed him at the top of the pyramid in the entire Spirit Martial Prefecture. After 10 days and nights of bitter cultivation, he had not even completed his first refining. If anyone else knew about this, he really wouldn't be able to show his face. Focusing his mind and looking into his dantian. At this moment, there was still a lot of pure yang aura in the dantian, but it was barely overflowing and showed no signs of overflowing. Moreover, the pure yang aura seemed to be divided into two parts. One part was heavier, occupying the lower part of the dantian, while the other part was lighter, occupying the upper part of the dantian. The space occupied by the pure yang aura in the lower part of the dantian looked smaller, but actually had a larger amount and better quality. Refined pure yang aura, of course, would be more powerful than unrefined pure yang aura. For example, the pure yang aura in the dantian now appeared like two hovering sun-melting furnaces in the upper and lower parts. The lower furnace had a smaller volume, but the temperature it emitted was hotter, and the light it radiated was brighter. As for this, Lu Yun didn't pay much attention, and he focused his mind on the panel again. At this time, the progress of the Golden Sun refining technique still showed as pre-entry, but it had already reached 67%. The progress was really slow, but it was within expectations. The slower the refining speed, the stronger the foundation and the more unlimited the potential. It was very necessary for geniuses with fast cultivation progress to take more time to strengthen and consolidate their foundation. Checking the energy value on the panel, it had accumulated to 3 at this time. Since his innate talent had been promoted to level 6, he could automatically increase 1 energy value every 5 days. He practiced for 10 days, adding 2 energy values. Including the previous one, the total was 3. Without any hesitation, Lu Yun added it to the Golden Sun refining technique, and the progress increased to 70%. At the same time, the pure yang aura in the upper part of the dantian gradually refined and then entered the lower dantian after circulating through the meridians. I got a sumi bag after killing Mu Qingfeng last time, and I haven't had time to check it yet. Let me open it and see if there are any pills. Thinking of this, Lu Yun took out the sumi bag. Soon, everything inside was taken out by Lu Yun. More than 3,000 taels of silver were piled in a corner of the room. Additionally, Lu Yun now had 2 more items in his hand. One was martial arts, the rushing thunder sword technique. As he currently focused on saber techniques, he had no interest in sword techniques, so he put the rushing thunder sword technique back into the sumi bag. The other item was a pill, a full bottle of profound origin pills. Profound origin pills were used by true Qi realm martial artists, mainly to speed up the refining of true Qi, and were much more precious than meridian pills. In the pill medicine building of the Martial Academy, a bottle of profound origin pills required 500 contribution points. That was to say, the value of this bottle of profound origin pills was almost around 50,000 taels of silver. The sumi bag was worth about 30,000 taels of silver, plus the rushing thunder sword technique. Upon calculating this, Lu Yun couldn't help but hold Mu Qingfeng, who had died, in high regard, carrying more than 100,000 taels worth of items. After putting away the sumi bag, Lu Yun's gaze fell on the profound origin pills, and a glint flashed in his eyes. He now had a solution for reaching the entry level of the Golden Sun refining technique. There were still 10 profound origin pills in the bottle. After taking them out, Lu Yun directly refined them. He had opened up 14 meridians, greatly increasing the total pure yang aura, and with 60% of the pure yang aura having been refined, the speed of pill refinement had also greatly increased. In less than half a cup of tea, All 10 profound origin pills had been refined. At the same time, the energy value on the panel surged to 350. Without any hesitation, Lu Yun directly promoted the Golden Sun refining technique. After consuming 30 energy points, the Golden Sun refining technique instantly reached the entry level. Chapter 84. Chapter 84. Chapter 84. Fusion Golden Sun 10 Refinement. Chapter 84. Chapter 84. Fusion Golden Sun 10 Refinement. At the moment when the entry level of the Golden Sun refining technique was upgraded, the pure yang aura floating inside Lu Yun's dantian began to compress and refine. After circulating through the meridians once, it returned to the dantian. After returning to the dantian, the refined pure yang aura sank towards the bottom, forcing the unrefined pure yang aura upwards. This was a continuous process, and since there was still a lot of unrefined pure yang aura, it would take a relatively long time to complete. 12 hours later, the pure yang aura was finally completely refined, and the dantian was no longer in an overflowing state. B0XO. Calm. The once refined pure yang aura seemed to become heavier and remained quietly in the dantian, desperately squeezing towards the bottom of the dantian, no longer as active as before. However, Lu Yun could feel that the current pure yang aura was extremely solid, and with the same amount of pure yang aura, he could unleash even more power. With the first refinement completed, Lu Yun shifted his mind from the dantian to the fusion panel. Name: Lu Yun Force, Flying Spirit Martial Academy, Martial Arts, Breaking Wind Saber Technique, Perfection, Unupgradable, Mix Origin Technique, Perceive Truth, Unupgradable, can be fused. Pure Yang Aura, Perceive Truth, Unupgradable, can be fused. 7 Kill Saber Technique, Reach Profound, Unupgradable, Black Tiger Saber Technique, Perfection, Unupgradable, Gale Thunder Flash Step, Great Accomplishment, 20%. Golden Sun Refining Technique, Entry Level 1%, can be fused. Innate Talent, Level 6 Martial Arts, True Chi Realm Early Stage, One-Time Refinement. Energy Value, 321, automatically added every 2 days. Conception, Slaughter Conception, First Rank 5%. Golden Sun Refining Technique, Entry Level, advancing in martial arts to True Chi Realm. At this moment, Lu Yun's attention suddenly fell on the Mix Origin Technique, Pure Yang Aura, and Golden Sun Refining Technique, because there was an additional panel for these 3 martial arts. Fusion. This discovery filled Lu Yun with both surprise and astonishment. Not long ago, he had complained that it would be nice to have a fusion function, and he did not expect the panel to satisfy his wish so quickly. With a thought, Lu Yun opened the fusion panel behind the Mix Origin Technique. It is found that the Mix Origin Technique can be fused with Pure Yang Aura, consuming 100 energy values. The Mix Origin Technique can be fused with the Golden Sun Refining Technique, consuming 300 energy values. Looking at this prompt, Lu Yun remained expressionless, closed the fusion panel of Mix Origin Technique, and opened the fusion panel of Pure Yang Aura. It is found that Pure Yang Aura can be fused with the Mix Origin Technique, consuming 100 energy values. Pure Yang Aura can be fused with the Golden Sun Refining Technique, consuming 1,000 energy values. He calmly closed the Pure Yang Aura panel and reopened the Golden Sun Refining Technique panel. It is found that the Golden Sun Refining Technique. Finally, the calm on Lu Yun's face couldn't hold up any longer, and the corners of his mouth unconsciously hooked into a slight curve. Strong, it's just too strong. Lu Yun roared continuously in his heart. It could be said that the more turbulent he was before, the more insane he was now. Because his mood couldn't be suppressed any longer, it completely exploded. After a long while, Lu Yun's emotions finally calmed down again. Currently, the Golden Sun Refining Technique can only refine the Qi 9 times at its best. What will change after fusing the Mix Origin Technique and pure yang aura. Thinking about this, Lu Yun immediately took action to verify his guess. With a thought, 300 energy values disappeared. At the same time, the mix origin technique and the golden sun refining technique vanished from the panel. Consuming 300 energy values, mix origin technique fuses with the golden sun refining technique, creating a new martial art, Golden Sun 10 Refinement. This message on the panel lasted for several breaths before disappearing. Meanwhile, a new martial art appeared in the martial art column. Golden Sun 10 Refinement. Entry level 1%, can be fused. Before Lu Yun could react, a strange memory emerged in his mind, which was the incantation of the Golden Sun 10 Refinement and the experience of entering the initial stage. As Lu Yun was digesting these memories, the pure yang aura in his dantian began to compress again. About 6 hours later, the pure yang aura was finally compressed. The martial arts column on the panel showed that the aggressive aura had only gone through one refinement, but compared to before, the aura was now more refined. Golden Sun 10 Refinement. Lu Yun murmured softly, his eyes filled with shock. The Golden Sun 10 Refinement, which was fused by the mix origin technique and Golden Sun refining technique, not only increased the number of refinements for the aggressive aura, but also improved the refinement effect. Next, Lu Yun opened the fusion panel of the Golden Sun 10 Refinement. The Golden Sun 10 Refinement can be fused with pure yang aura, consuming 1,300 contribution points. As expected, the more advanced the martial arts being fused, the more energy values consumed. Previously, pure yang aura and Golden Sun refining technique required only 1,000 energy values for fusion. After the Golden Sun refining technique was upgraded a notch, it required an additional 300 energy values for fusion again. Unfortunately, I don't have any spare energy values right now. Otherwise, one would like to see the new martial arts fused by the Golden Sun 10 Refinement and pure yang aura. Lu Yun closed the fusion panel of the Golden Sun 10 Refinement, and his attention fell on the other martial arts. Breaking Wind Saber Technique, Black Tiger Saber Technique, 7 Kill Saber Technique, and Gale Thunder Flash Step remained the same, without any fusion panels added. Lu Yun pondered for a moment, and then muttered to himself, Mix Origin Technique, Pure Yang Aura, and Golden Sun Refining Technique are all internal cultivation techniques. Is it possible that only internal cultivation, martial arts, can be fused? Or is there some connection between Mix Origin Technique, Pure Yang Aura, and Golden Sun Refining Technique? If that's the case, perhaps the various saber techniques can also be fused with each other. With this thought in mind, Lu Yun secretly decided to take the opportunity to try fusing several low-level saber techniques. After practicing hard for more than 10 days, Lu Yun finally finished his training. For the next few days, Lu Yun didn't practice and just quietly accompanied Lu Yu and Lu He, taking the opportunity to give Lu He some guidance on his saber techniques. After a few days, Lu He finally achieved great accomplishment in the Willow Leaf Blade. At the same time, he also left the Black Tiger Saber technique to Lu He. Of all his martial arts, he could only pass on the Breaking Wind Saber technique, Black Tiger Saber technique, and Rushing Thunder Sword technique that he had obtained from Mu Qingfeng's Sumi bag. Among them, there was no need to pass on the Breaking Wind Saber technique, since both he and Lu He practiced saber techniques, so the Rushing Thunder Sword technique could only stay in the Sumi bag. Additionally, after learning that Lu Yun had come out of seclusion, other people from Spirit Creek Village, including Deputy Village Chief Lu Tsang, Hunting Team Leader Lu Yang, and Lu Meng, visited him frequently. Old Village Head Lu Tsangxing had been recuperating and adjusting his breath due to his severe injuries during this time. Among Lu Yun's peers, only Tianhu visited Lu Yun several times. Tianhu was very interested in the Flying Spirit Martial Academy and came to ask Lu Yun about it. Of course, Lu Yun only mentioned some simple things, as he didn't want to discourage Tianhu. Anyway, life in Cloud Creek Village was simple and calm, as if there is no passage of time. In the blink of an eye, another half-month had passed. It was time to leave. Chapter 85. Chapter 85. Chapter 85, Blackvale Mountain Range. Chapter 85. Chapter 85, Blackvale Mountain Range. The next morning, dawn was breaking. At the entrance of Spirit Creek Village, Deputy Chief Lu Tsang led many villagers to bid farewell to Lu Yun. After the incident at Skywind Stronghold, the villagers of Spirit Creek Village were profoundly grateful to Lu Yun. The children were filled with admiration and respect, their gazes towards Lu Yun shining brightly. Lu Yun, Spirit Creek Village, will always be there for you. If one day you are weary and do not wish to climb further on your martial arts journey, Spirit Creek Village, and the villagers will always welcome you, said Lu Tsang, looking at Lu Yun with a serious tone. B0XO. Calm, even though he knew it was almost impossible, he was ready to make the promise. This was the commitment of all the villagers of Spirit Creek Village. All because Lu Yun had saved everyone during a critical moment, preventing a massacre in Spirit Creek Village. All because of Lu Yun's potential to slaughter a Meridian Passage Realm Peak martial artist, despite his young age. Shaolin, you are the pride of Spirit Creek Village, as well as the pride of me and Lu Yu. We're waiting for your name to be known throughout the world. He patted Lu Yun's shoulder, laughing out loud, his eyes full of pride. It won't be long, Lu Yun said with a smile, glancing at Lu Yu by his side. Lu Yu, who had grown taller, was only half a head shorter than Lu He. She tiptoed, affectionately ruffling Lu Yun's hair. Her eyes were filled with tenderness and love. She pressed her lips together, trying to say something, but she could not find the words. After a long time, her eyes began to fill with tears, and she finally managed to choke out, Xiaoyun, I know you have great talent and strength, but I still need to remind you, be careful when you are outside. Although she had only received education for a short period, she knew that her brother was destined to soar. A small village like Spirit Creek Village could not hold him back. Only a place that was bigger and further could truly be his stage. What she could do was to silently support him, watching him grow and take flight, looking at the proud Lu He and the tearful, reluctant Lu Yun's normally placid mood was greatly stirred. He wanted to stay, to enjoy the warmth of his family and the peace and tranquility of Spirit Creek Village. But he immediately disregarded this dangerous thought. The peacefulness and tranquility of the weak were temporary and vulnerable. Once a powerful external force intervened, everything would be shattered in an instant, just like the attack from Skywind Stronghold. If Lu Yun had not arrived in time, Spirit Creek Village would have been a river of blood. Only the truly strong can last. Only absolute power can be eternal. With these thoughts in mind, Lu Yun's determination to leave was further strengthened. Sis, eldest brother, am leaving. With these words, Lu Yun glanced at the people who had come to see him off, smiled and nodded, then resolutely mounted his horse. Go! With a harsh shout, the pure-blooded black horse suddenly accelerated, turning into a black shadow, quickly disappearing from the entrance of the village. Lu Tianhu stared at the distance, the place where Lu Yun had disappeared. He clenched his fist and muttered to himself, Lu Yun, the gap between us is getting bigger and bigger, but one will never forget our promise. His voice was very soft, so soft that it was drowned out by the gradually rising wind. Leaving Spirit Creek Village, the sun began to rise. The golden morning sunlight spilled down, casting a golden hue over the entire land. A man and horse were racing across the golden land, their long shadows chasing after them. I've been delayed in Spirit Creek Village for so long. I wonder if there have been any changes to the task. Initially, he had planned to stay in Spirit Creek Village for a short period before leaving, but things didn't go as planned, and he ended up staying a whole month. The task doesn't have a time limit, and according to the steward, the demon beast shouldn't have left. Delaying for a month or two probably doesn't matter too much. With these thoughts, Lu Yun felt much more relaxed, and his speed also slowed down. Passing through the official road, mountain paths, and small roads, Lu Yun appeared outside a dilapidated village late in the evening. Standing at the outskirts of the village, one could see the wild grass along the village roads flourishing and the wheat in the fields thick and healthy, forming a stark contrast with the decrepit-looking village from a distance. According to the task, when the authorities found this place, the villagers had all perished with no survivors. Moreover, this was the last place where the demon beast was seen, this being a mission from the Martial Academy, and only this village being mentioned in the description indicates that the demon beast is near this village. However, there are no human settlements for tens of miles around this village. Where could the demon beast be? Lu Yun did not enter the village. Instead, he found a place with a clear view and observed the surrounding terrain. Just as he expected, the vast space to the southwest of the village was pitch black. With a grin, Lu Yun spurred his horse and headed in that direction. About an hour later, a dark mountain range appeared in the distance. If I'm not mistaken, the demon beast must have fled into this mountain range. Murmuring to himself, Lu Yun made his way swiftly towards the mountain range. The Black Veil Mountain Range is currently in lockdown and is off-limits to unauthorized personnel. Just as Lu Yun was about to enter the mountain range, two martial artists dressed in black armor suddenly appeared and stopped Lu Yun. Oh, so this is the Black Veil Mountain Range. Lu Yun thought while scanning the two men. Both men were in the late stages of the enter-martial realm, dressed in black armor with resolute expressions, unlike ordinary martial artists. Curious, he asked, "Who are you people? Why are you blocking my way?" "I'll say it once more, unauthorized personnel are not allowed to enter," one of the men in black armor coldly repeated. "What if I must enter?" "Two outcomes. One is death by my blade or death in the mountains." Lu Yun was taken aback. "What makes you say that?" The other black armored martial artist, who looked friendlier, explained, "We are members of the Black Tiger Army under the command of Wang Juanhao, tasked with guarding this area to prevent local villagers from entering the Black Veil Mountain and to prevent the demon beast inside from causing harm. I can see that you are somewhat skilled, but I advise you to return where you came from to avoid losing your life." A spark of understanding flashed in Lu Yun's eyes, and he continued to probe. "Why don't you go into the mountains to eliminate the demon beast entirely so that you don't have to guard here for a long time?" The man in black armor replied, "It's an order from our superiors. We cannot defy it." "I see. Impudent child, you've asked enough. If you don't wish to die, go back." Lu Yun ignored the man and said to the other one, "Since you're just idle here, help me take care of my horse for a while." With those words, Lu Yun moved. He jumped off his horse and leaped over the two men before touching foot on a distant tree and disappearing into the woods in a blink of an eye. The two men in black armor looked at each other, their gazes moving between the horse Lu Yun left behind and the tree where he had disappeared. This is at least 10 meters, right? No run-up, no borrowing strength. He just jumped over. The man who had been scolding Lu Yun looked shocked. "Give it a try then. See if you can jump that far." The amiable black armored martial artist retorted sarcastically, "That was clearly a jump, but it felt more like flight." Chapter 86, Chapter 86, Chapter 86, found. Chapter 86, Chapter 86, found. Entering the depths of the old mountain forest, there was utter silence. The sunlight was blocked by dense branches and leaves of towering trees, leaving only faint rays to seep through the cracks, nourishing a few fortunate flowers and plants. Walking on the dark, damp ground, the occasional crunching sound of fallen leaves crumbling could be heard. Lu Yun moved quickly through the dense forest. Although Blackvale Mountain Range wasn't connected to the endless deep mountains like Cloud Dream Mountain Range, nor was it a branch of the 100,000 Mountains. But its scope was vast, making it difficult to find the third-rank demon beast in a short amount of time. B0XO. Come, shoo! While moving rapidly, Lu Yun suddenly heard a faint sound. Since comprehending the slaughter conception, his hearing and vision had greatly improved. Even the slightest rustling of grass couldn't escape his perception, let alone in such a quiet environment. There! Lu Yun's gaze shifted towards the left front. In the distance, a cluster of thorny bushes began emitting a clearly audible rustling sound, followed by a black head slowly emerging. It seemed to be a snake, sticking out its long forked tongue, its dark red eyes cold and staring calmly at the human before it. Whoosh! Its figure suddenly moved, instantly shooting towards Lu Yun like a black arrow. Lu Yun didn't even draw his blade. With the casual burst of aggressive aura, he cut it in half, the pieces falling at his feet. I thought it was something big, but it turned out to be just a little snake. Muttering to himself, Lu Yun stepped on the struggling head, crushing it into a pile of mush, and walked away without looking back. In Morijin, apart from the branch mountain ranges of the 100,000 Mountains, other mountain ranges had very few demon beasts, only some unenlightened wild animals and insects. Of course, occasionally some demon beasts would break through the defensive line, for some reason, and enter Morijin. A single demon beast entering the defense line could cause considerable damage to the people inside. Lu Yun's current mission objective was to locate an unknown demon beast that had accidentally broken through the defense line. After slaughtering a village, it fled into the Blackvale Mountain Range. Of course, the Blackvale Mountain Range would be its burial ground. Lu Yun sped up, going deeper into the mountain range. On the other hand, after Lu Yun forcefully entered the Blackvale Mountain Range, the two black-armored martial artists immediately reported the incident to their superior, the squad leader. Eventually, the squad leader reported it to the captain. The captain, leading 100 soldiers, along with the unique system of the Black Tiger Army, had an enter martial realm cultivation level as an ordinary soldier. This captain, named Chun Fan, was in the middle stage of the true Qi realm. He obeyed the command of the supervisor, Wang Juanhao, to chase down the third-ranked demon beast that had entered the line of defense and finally tracked it down to the Blackvale Mountain Range. Later, due to the intervention of Flying Spirit Martial Academy, it was made into a trial task for the disciples. So, that young man must be a disciple of Flying Spirit Martial Academy. Keep a close watch on him. Report to me after he leaves the mountain, said Chun Fan, clad in armor, with a chivalrous demeanor and an imposing aura. What if he dies? The squad leader asked uneasily. Then it means he's a waste. It's better if he dies. He would only waste resources if he lives. Chun Fan spoke indifferently, as if describing a very mundane matter. On the summit of a high mountain in the Blackvale Mountain Range, Lu Yun crouched at the highest point, looking down at the distance. I've been in the Blackvale Mountain Range for more than 10 days, searching for almost half of the range, but there's still no trace of that demon beast. Lu Yun felt helpless. If he had known earlier that the situation was like this, he wouldn't have accepted the task, as it was both laborious and time-consuming. During these days in the Blackvale Mountain Range, Lu Yun's only gain was improving his Gale Thunder Flash step to a 30% great accomplishment level. This was the result of his own hard practice, without the help of energy values. He still needed nearly 1,000 energy values to fuse Golden Sun 10 refinement and pure young aggressive aura, so he couldn't afford to squander them. Of course, the great accomplishment Gale Thunder Flash Step was enough for him to use, which was also the reason why he could search almost half of the Black Veil mountain range in just over 10 days. I'll search for 10 more days. If I still can't find it in 10 days, I'll give up the task. With that thought in his mind, Lu Yun moved his body, seeming to have thunder brewing beneath his feet, and he disappeared from the mountaintop. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The deeper Lu Yun went into the Black Veil mountain range, the thicker the accumulated snow was, as if it was a perennially unmelting snowy mountain filled with cold air. Lu Yun performed the Gale Thunder Flash Step, moving quickly while searching and looking for traces of the demon beast. A few days later, Lu Yun's ear suddenly twitched. His swiftly moving figure stopped immediately, looking towards a high ground and murmuring to himself, "It seems that the movement is coming from over there." Soon, he arrived at the high ground, stealthily poking his head out and looking forward. In the distance was a large lake, like a mirror embedded among the peaks. The ice peaks, blue sky, and white clouds were reflected in the lake, forming a beautiful picture. Next to the lake, there was a large group of snow-white wolves. They came in groups of 3s and 5s, either drinking water or laying half asleep on the grass by the shore. At first glance, there had to be over 100 wolves. Not far from the pack of wolves, several large beasts lay on the ground, wild pigs, wild bulls, and the like. They groaned in pain, lying on their backs or stomachs, bleeding heavily. The most critical wounds were around their necks. Suddenly, ripples appeared in the emerald green lake water as bubbles began to emerge. Boom! A loud explosion rang out, followed by a giant water column shooting up into the sky. From it, a large silvery figure emerged. Surprisingly, it was a giant silver wolf. This silver giant wolf was much larger than the other snow wolves, its fur emitting a faint silver glow, giving it a striking, beautiful appearance. As it emerged from the water, the snow wolves playing in the water or lazily sleeping woke up, howling up at the sky, as if paying homage to the silver giant wolf. "I finally found you," Lu Yun grinned, revealing a small smile. He didn't expect the silver moon wolf to live such a comfortable life after fleeing to the Black Veil mountain range. Not only did it rule here, but it also found such an excellent place. Lu Yun stared at the silver moon wolf being served by numerous snow wolves by the lake, feeling quite touched. "However, now that I've found you, your good days have come to an end." "Kill!" A cold glint flashed in Lu Yun's eyes, and his body quickly charged towards the lakeshore. Although there were many snow wolves, and they were quite large, they were just wild animals. Even slightly more powerful realm martial artists couldn't defeat them, so they naturally didn't catch Lu Yun's eye. After performing the Gale Thunder Flash Step, his speed was terrifying, and in the blink of an eye, he arrived at the lakeshore. At the same time, his sudden intrusion broke the tranquility here. Roar! A deep, resonant sound came from the silver moon wolf's mouth. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. All the snow wolves instantly raised their heads, their scarlet eyes fixed on Lu Yun, their legs rubbing against the ground in preparation for attack. Chapter 87, Chapter 87, Chapter 87. Solving the Problem. Chapter 87, Chapter 87. Solving the problem. Roar! The silver moon wolf let out a long howl, and the snow wolves, like soldiers receiving a command, instantly charged at Lu Yun. Facing so many snow wolves, an ordinary true Qi realm martial artist might have to temporarily avoid their sharpness. Lu Yun didn't think about it that much, and transformed into a lightning bolt, rushing into the group of snow wolves. Die! B0XO! Come! Lu Yun swung his tiger head broadsaber in his hand. Whoosh! The broadsaber was like a lightning flash, fast as a bolt of lightning, with the sound of breaking wind echoing throughout. In the instant when the broad saber slashed, there were also gusts of fierce wind howling. To slaughter these snow wolves, Lu Yun did not need a powerful saber technique. The lowest-ranking breaking wind saber technique was enough. The snow wolves hadn't completely rushed up yet, and were already met with Lu Yun's active attack. "You're too weak." Lu Yun had no trace of mercy in his heart. The saber light suddenly flickered, and 2 snow wolves were cut down. Although their bodies were strong, their defense was far weaker compared to demon beasts. Demon beasts absorb the essence of heaven and earth, refine precious materials, and have an incredibly powerful flesh body. These wild beasts had not yet gained spirituality. Besides having some primal strength and innate speed, they had no other advantages. Sweeping thousands of armies. Knife light scattered across the sky, cutting open the stomachs of more than a dozen snow wolves that pounced. None of their bodies remained intact, and their crimson blood stained the snowfields red, breaking through leaven and earth. The second move of breaking wind saber technique was even more powerful than the first move, sweeping thousands of armies. The snow wolves within several yards of Lu Yun all seemed to be hit by a terrifying storm, blasted away by a tremendous force, breaking through heaven and earth. In an instant, the space within several dozen yards around Lu Yun was enveloped by dense and powerful saber light, and the saber aura rampantly moved about. Under such a terrifying and powerful attack, there was no longer a snow wolf standing intact in the vicinity. Fragments of broken bodies were scattered all over the ground, and the originally pure white snowfield was stained with a layer of bloody red color. Roar, roar, roar. Far away, there were more than a dozen snow wolves that seemed to be the leaders of the pack. At this time, they were shivering all over under the pressure of Lu Yun's powerful aura, continuously retreating. Howl, the silver moon wolf, covered in silver-white fur, let out a loud roar, commanding the remaining snow wolves to continue charging, intending to tear the approaching human to pieces. However, the remaining snow wolf leaders' fear of Lu Yun had completely surpassed their awe of the silver moon wolf. They were no longer obedient, shivering and retreating towards the rear. Unintelligent, but quite sensible, Lu Yun didn't bother with these snow wolves that were as weak as ants, focusing intently on the silver moon wolf in the distance, which was his goal in this journey. At this moment, the silver moon wolf saw the snow wolves not only halting but also constantly retreating, and it became furious out of shame. It bit the neck of the snow wolf closest to it. Whimper! That snow wolf merely let out a whimper before it was completely lifeless. Even so, the other snow wolves didn't stop retreating. Roar! The silver moon wolf made another move, and another snow wolf died beneath its claws. Such was the pity of the weak ones, always unable to control life and death. Whether facing Lu Yun or the silver moon wolf, they were too weak to resist. How tragic and unfortunate! Unable to resist, they could only run away. In the blink of an eye, the remaining snow wolves fled in all directions, and the silver moon wolf could not stop them all, allowing them to escape freely. At this, Lu Yun did not interfere either. All his attention was focused on the silver moon wolf. If he accidentally let it escape, the vast Black Veil mountain range would be enough for him to search for it. Though Lu Yun had killed over 100 snow wolves with his thunderous tactics, his true strength was still about the same as that of a martial artist at the beginning of the true Qi realm. Thus, the silver moon wolf did not feel too threatened and did not have any intention to retreat. Its front paw kept rubbing the ground, quickly creating a snow pit. The silver moon wolf was very patient. It did not attack right away. Instead, it observed Lu Yun waiting for the right opportunity. However, Lu Yun did not have that much patience. As soon as he realized that the silver moon wolf had no intention to escape, he made his move. For him, As long as the silver moon wolf did not flee immediately, he was confident that he could kill it. With a thrust from his right foot, Lu Yun leaped. His speed and the aura he exuded were still at the level of a regular martial artist in the early true Qi realm. Die! When he was at a certain distance, Lu Yun's speed suddenly increased, while his aggressive aura exploded from within his body, frightening the silver moon wolf and causing it to shudder. Without any hesitation, the silver moon wolf started running, heading towards the dense forest on the right. Unfortunately, it was too late. The moment Lu Yun fully erupted, the fate of the silver moon wolf was sealed. Whoosh! With a full-force display of the great accomplishment Gale Thunder Flash Step, Lu Yun's speed instantly experienced a qualitative improvement. It seemed like there were thunder flashes under his feet, several times denser than before, like a thunderbolt of light. With a whoosh, he left a phantom behind him. He quickly chased after the silver moon wolf and stepped on its back, then slashed it with his saber. Boom! The saber light was as condensed as water, several dozen feet long, directly piercing through the howling cold wind and falling on the neck of the silver moon wolf, cutting through the thick fur, wolf skin, muscles, bones. All were severed. The speed was incredibly fast, the strength was overwhelming, and the blade was extremely sharp, far exceeding the limits of the silver moon wolf's physical defenses. Under this slash, its body, which was harder than steel, was as fragile as a piece of paper. With the fall of the blade, the enormous head of the silver moon wolf flew. In the eyes of the flying head, there was disbelief. It was not aware of how its pursuer caught up, or how it was suddenly broken into by such a sharp blade, severing its neck and cutting off its head. With a plop, the silver moon wolf's head was embedded in the snow, while its sturdy body collapsed with a boom. Thus, a third-rank demon beast perished. Let's go! After killing the silver moon wolf, Lu Yun didn't hesitate. Thunder flickered beneath his feet as he turned into a stream of lightning and rushed out of the Black Veil Mountain Range. Upon leaving the Black Veil Mountain Range, Lu Yun did not need to search for demon beasts. In less than a day, he completely exited the gloomy and dense Black Veil Mountain Range. Those 2 Black Tiger Army soldiers were still waiting at the spot, along with a well-fed, pure-blood black horse. Thank you both for watching the horse. Lu Yun gave a light laugh, leaped onto the horse, and rode away, leaving the 2 Black Tiger Army soldiers dumbfounded. We didn't even get a chance to ask him anything, and he just left. Let's go report this to the squad leader. Reporting to Captain, my soldiers didn't manage to inquire any information before the Martial Academy disciple rode away, said the squad leader, reporting to Chen Fan right away. I see, Chen Fan responded indifferently, then immediately ordered, command all the Black Tiger Army soldiers stationed in the Black Veil Mountain Range to return to camp. Forget about the demon beast. The squad leader was slightly taken aback, asking with confusion, I just received the news that Silver Moon Wolf has been killed by the Martial Academy disciple. Our mission is completed. Return to camp immediately, Chen Fan replied. Yes, sir. The squad leader saluted and left. Chapter 88, Chapter 88, Chapter 88, 10th floor. Chapter 88, Chapter 88, 10th floor. Half a month later, Lu Yun returned to the Flying Spirit Martial Academy. This mission had taken nearly 3 months to complete. Fortunately, when he returned to the academy and handed in the mission at the demon-slaying area, the steward didn't ask many questions. After confirming the news, he directly allocated 800 contribution points to Lu Yun. Lu Yun also noticed that the steward seemed to have received the news of him slaying the Silver Moon Wolf long ago. However, he didn't pay much attention to it. After leaving the task hall, he went straight to the Myriad Phenomena Tower. B0XO. Calm this time, he entered quietly without attracting anyone's attention. Myriad Phenomena Tower, 9th floor. 50 monohorn wild boars. each at the second rank peak level demon beast. The moment they saw Lu Yun, they all roared loudly and rushed towards him, seeking death. Lu Yun snorted coldly and transformed into a thunderbolt of lightning, dashing into the group of monohorn wild boars. Long sword, unsheathed, lightning flashed brightly across the blade. In a flash of the sword light, several monohorn wild boars were cut. The sword light flickered continuously. Lu Yun moved forward in a straight line, cutting through the encircling monohorn wild boars with ease, creating a huge gap in their ranks. Looking back, only 2/3 of the 52nd rank peak monohorn wild boars remained. In a single charge, he killed more than a dozen monohorn wild boars. While in the Black Veil Mountain Range, he killed hundreds of snow wolves in an instant, leaving only a few scattered survivors. At that time, his strength was merely at the early stage of the true Qi realm. From this, it could be seen that those snow wolves were simply incomparable to the second-rank demon beasts. Seeing the monohorn wild boars regrouping to attack once again, Lu Ye's eyes turned cold. Last time I scared the wits out of you, and after a short time apart, you became this audacious again. It seems you haven't learned your lesson. Since that's the case, die completely for me. Kill. Lu Yun swung his sword in an instant. A barrage of furious slashes rained down. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. One by one, sword lights several meters long flew out, and in the blink of an eye, Lu Yun had slashed dozens of times. Dozens of sword lights attacked the charging monohorn wild boars. Last time, he had used a similar technique, which cost him most of his aggressive aura, but also made all the monohorn wild boars tremble with fear. This time, using the same technique, consumed only a small part of his aggressive aura. Yet the power he displayed was much more domineering and terrifying than before. The condensed and sharp sword light caused the 9th floor of the Myriad Phenomena Tower's space to fluctuate. The energy collided wildly, releasing densely packed arc-shaped sword lights. The monohorn wild boars couldn't react in time. Puff, puff, puff. The powerful and terrifying sword light slashed through. In an instant, the remaining 30-odd monohorn wild boars were all killed. The 9th floor of the Myriad Phenomena Tower was nothing more than this. With all the monohorn wild boars slain, the vortex door to the 10th floor appeared once again. By now, several months had passed since he had cleared the 8th floor of the Myriad Phenomena Tower. Passing through the 9th and 10th floors in one go was still impressive, but not to the point of being unbearable to others. Thus, Lu Yun didn't hesitate to stride into it. Myriad Phenomena Tower, 10th floor. The environment in this floor was completely different from the previous 9 floors. It was a vast, snowy jungle. The heavy snowfall made the surrounding temperature drop drastically. The chilling air surged toward Lu Yun, only to be extinguished by a wave of scorching heat before it could touch him. Lu Yun carried his tiger-head broadsaber and moved forward. Soon, he saw a huge cave in front of him. Several giant white bears were frolicking outside the cave. Each of these white bears had a massive physique, standing nearly 10 meters tall, with high bulging shoulders, showcasing their astonishing strength. In the cold environment, their long fur covered their bodies, making them look like they were wearing a layer of natural white armor. These white bears look very strong, with terrifying defense, but there are only about 10 of them, and they are only at the 2nd rank peak level. Lu Yun observed and made a judgment right away. This is definitely not all of them. There must be even more or even stronger white bears hidden. Before he could determine where other potentially hidden demon beasts were, the dozen or so giant bears stopped playing and stood tall, staring at Lu Yun, the uninvited guest. Roar! One of the giant bears suddenly moved, waving its strong arms and sprinting towards Lu Yun. Its massive body did not slow it down, but instead provided a great momentum to its charge. The ground shook, and the trees swayed as it rushed towards him, an unstoppable sight. As the giant bear charged, the other bears did not take action right away. In their eyes, their companion was more than enough to deal with this tiny intruder. Lu Yun stood calmly in the snow, watching the incoming giant bear. The giant bear's charge caused its fur to tremble constantly, releasing powerful vibrations that shook the snow off the surrounding trees. Roar! As the giant bear neared Lu Yun, it leaped into the air, its massive body crashing down on Lu Yun as if a mountain was pressing down on him. Lu Yun didn't move. He simply raised his tiger-head broadsaber, stabbing it towards the rapidly descending giant bear. Chi! The long sword seemed to effortlessly penetrate something, going straight through without any resistance. Lu Yun looked at the giant bear that was impaled on his tiger-head broadsaber like a small mountain, a strange expression on his face. He thought to himself, "You insisted on trying to sit on me with your butt, and now you've tasted the bitterness." The tiger-head broadsaber had pierced deeply through the giant bear's, but like a long spear. Oh! Feeling the pain from its anal region, the giant bear finally let out a skyward roar. Its painful groaning echoed throughout the forest. Rotating the sword slightly, completely sinking it into the giant bear's body, the sword aura dispersed, rampaging inside the bear and destroying life energy within. Feeling that it was enough, Lu Yun pulled out the blade. The giant bear's huge body fell heavily from the air, fresh blood gushing out of its anal wound. It seems that even for a giant bear, the anus remains a weak spot on the body. Lu Yun evaluated quietly, raising his head to look at the cave in the distance, where he sensed there were more and even stronger giant bears. Just as he looked up, the dozen or so giant bears glared at Lu Yun with eyes filled with hatred and murderous intent, roaring furiously and rushing towards him simultaneously. They had initially not taken Lu Yun, this tiny intruder, seriously. However, to their surprise, this seemingly insignificant intruder had managed to kill one of their companions with a single strike. Feeling greatly threatened, their hearts were filled with anger and hatred. Roar, roar! More than a dozen giant bears charged towards Lu Yun at once. The powerful bodies and impacts caused the ground to shake even more violently, making the surrounding trees sway more intensely. Chapter 89, Chapter 89, Chapter 89, Terror? Chapter 89, Chapter 89, Terror? Only 12, it shouldn't take too long, Lu Yun thought to himself. These giant bears have a larger body and better defense than monohorn wild boars. If one want to conserve my strength, one must target their weak spots. His gaze swept over the 12 charging giant bears. Each giant bear charged with tremendous power, and as they approached, Lu Yun found it easier to spot their weaknesses. Found it! A glint flashed in Lu Yun's eyes as he performed the Gale Thunder Flash step, dodging the simultaneous attacks from the bears. B0XO. Calm while dodging, Lu Yun struck with his blade. Schlick! The long blade entered the bear's neck and sliced horizontally. A giant bear promptly fell. Repeating his moves, he used the Gale Thunder Flash step again to avoid another round of attacks and pierced the center of another bear's forehead. Killing these second-rank demon beasts is too easy. Lu Yun found it somewhat boring, with no challenge at all. However, just at this moment, suddenly a series of deep, masculine roars sounded from within the cave. The roars kept coming, one after another, causing Lu Yun's face to change slightly. There really were bigger monsters in the cave. As the ground shook and the mountain trembled, huge giant bears emerged from the cave. Judging from their drowsy eyes, they seemed to have just woken up. No, they must have been awakened from their deep sleep. 10, 20, 30, while dodging and slaying the giant bears, Lu Yun counted the number of bears exiting the cave. Before long, more than 30 giant bears had rushed out of the cave, encircling Lu Yun. 37 plus the initial 13 make a total of 50 giant bears. Lu Yun quickly figured out their numbers, but he had some doubts in his heart. Could it be that the 10th floor of the Myriad Phenomena Tower had only 52nd rank peak demon beasts, just like the 9th floor? Of course, these giant bears were stronger than the monohorn wild boars on the 9th floor, both individually and as a group. The bears were more formidable in terms of body size and physical defense. Perhaps this is how it really is, Lu Yun murmured quietly, his eyes flashing with a cold light. He accelerated again to face the attacking giant bears. During the journey back to the Martial Academy from the Black Veil Mountain Range, he had not rushed, but instead continuously practiced the Gale Thunder Flash Step. Now, his cultivation progress in the Gale Thunder Flash Step had increased to 50% mastery, making his speed even more terrifying. The furious giant bears could not touch Lu Yun's body at all. Instead, they were constantly attacked by Lu Yun targeting their weak spots and killed with a single blow. In just less than half the time it took to drink a cup of tea, another dozen or so giant bears had fallen to the ground. Although the individual strength of demon beasts is stronger than that of a martial artist, if I had to face 50 Meridian Passage Realm Peak martial artists simultaneously, it probably wouldn't be this easy. Lu Yun looked at the chaotic, furious bears, which occasionally collided with each other, and a glint flashed in his eyes. Schlick! Schlick! A blade deeply penetrated the heart of a giant bear, and as another bear pounced, Lu Yun put away his blade and dodged. While dodging, his figure flickered, and he turned to strike with his blade once more. The aggressive aura erupted, directly cleaving through the abdomen of another bear. The giant bear's defense was terrifying, but it could not withstand a blade infused with pure yang aura. Lu Yun's consecutive slayings of several giant bears made him increasingly at ease. Unleashing the Gale Thunder Flash Step, he darted among the furious giant bears. He could feel his footwork slowly improving, which was also why his attack pace was gradually slowing down. Use it and it advances, neglect it and it regresses. This principle applied to this world as well. If I fought like this for half a month, the Gale Thunder Flash Step might reach the perfection stage without needing energy points. Lu Yun couldn't help but think. Schlick! As his figure flickered, Lu Yun left a large hole in the neck of a giant bear. Boom! He made a frontal slash, and fierce power erupted. He chopped off an incoming giant bear's arm and drove the blade into its throat. When I leave, should one immediately announce that I've passed the 10th floor of the Myriad Phenomena Tower, or wait a while? Lu Yun continued to fight the remaining giant bears while considering his plans for the future. At that moment, an even louder roar resonated. Startled, Lu Yun's thoughts retreated, focusing his gaze on the dark cave. He saw the cave shaking violently, and 4 even larger giant bears emerged. Compared to these 4 behemoths, the previous bears seemed like mere cubs, one size smaller. As expected, the 10th floor of the Myriad Phenomena Tower isn't that simple. Lu Yun's eyes landed on the 4 giant bears. Among them, 3 giant bears were 2 zhang tall, and their robust bodies resembled small hills. As they moved, the surrounding trees rustled. Unsurprisingly, these 3 beasts had already broken through the limits of the 2nd rank and were genuine 3rd rank creatures. However, Lu Yun's attention was on the other giant bear, with a body 3 zhang tall, pillar-like sturdy arms, and a powerful aura that could be felt from far away. This bear symbolized the strength and terror of the opponent. The last giant bear must have reached the midway point of the 3rd rank. Lu Yun muttered quietly, a cold glint flashing in his eyes as his terrifying aura intensified once more. His movements were ghostly as he darted among the remaining ordinary giant bears, aiming to end the battle as quickly as possible and then focus his energy on the final 4 giant bears. Grr! It seemed that upon seeing their reinforcements arriving, the remaining dozen or so giant bears became even more fearless, wildly waving their sturdy arms at Lu Yun. Though with a reduced number of bears, their cooperation improved significantly, and they no longer collided with each other like before. However, that didn't make much difference to a serious Lu Yun. The moment he decided to fight seriously, his entire aura changed. Boundless killing intent spread out, gradually enveloping an area of tens of meters. Blood-colored light sparkled in Lu Yun's eyes. At this moment, Lu Yun's aura changed drastically. There was an extremely hot, masculine heat, as well as a bone-chilling coldness. This was Lu Yun after fully unleashing the pure yang aura and the slaughter conception. He felt an unprecedented power within himself. Scumbags die. The word squeezed from Lu Yun's teeth, and his entire being transformed into a blood-red lightning bolt, charging into battle. Schlick, schlick, schlick. The second-rank peak giant bears were no match for Lu Yun. A few breaths later, only 4 giant bears remained on the 10th floor of the Myriad Phenomena Tower. The smallest one was 2 zhang tall, and compared to it, Lu Yun was not even as thick as its leg. However, the aura emanating from Lu Yun was stronger than any of the 4 bears combined, including the giant bear that appeared to be at the middle stage of the 3rd rank. Chapter 90, Chapter 90, Chapter 90, just like that, seeking Chapter 90, Chapter 90. Just like that, seeking subscriptions, monthly tickets. Standing not far from the 4 giant bears, Lu Yun's eyes flickered with a crimson glow. Although Lu Yun's stature was small, the invisible momentum he emitted seemed to suppress the 4 huge giant bears. His right hand held a saber, while his left hand lifted slightly, making a hooking gesture with his fingers. Roar. B0XO. Calm, seemingly aware that Lu Yun was making a provocative move, the 4 giant bears roared angrily. At the same time, their arms moved, uprooting the thick trees beside them and using them as weapons, swinging them towards Lu Yun. The formidable power caused the air to emit a booming sound, and the fierce wind could be felt from afar. Lu Yun revealed a faint, cold smile, not retreating but advancing instead, as he swung his tiger head broadsaber that was imbued with slaughter conception and pure yang aura. Domineering carnage. Bang! It seemed as if a startling thunderbolt had emerged from the ground, its red and white saber light reaching nearly 5 zhang. The thick tree trunk barely touched it before it shattered. The tiger head broadsaber slammed into the head of the giant bear, which stood more than 2 zhang tall. Aggressive aura erupted, and the saber chopped down, directly splitting the incredibly hard skull. Boom! A powerful storm approached from behind, and Lu Yun flashed away, avoiding it in an instant. However, the giant bear that just had its skull split open could not dodge at all. It was hit by the incredibly thick tree trunk in its abdomen, and the powerful blow sent it flying dozens of zhang away, breaking a large number of trees before finally stopping and falling to the ground, lifeless. Seeing this scene, Lu Yun's crimson pupils contracted involuntarily. He knew that these giant bears were incredibly strong, but he didn't expect them to be this terrifying. Fortunately, they can't touch me. Otherwise, if one were slapped by any one of them, no matter how strong my skills are, I wouldn't be able to use them, said Lu Yun as he quickly increased the distance between him and the other 2 bears after dodging their attacks. 3 giant bears chased after him. With his speed, Lu Yun wasn't afraid of being caught up. Boom, boom, boom. One by one, the incredibly thick trees collapsed, sending snow flying into the air. Amidst the heavy snowfall, Lu Yun suddenly turned around and unexpectedly unleashed a saber strike. The saber light was like a startling hong, not only fast, but also terrifyingly powerful. The furious giant bear, completely overtaken by rage, didn't expect Lu Yun to suddenly appear and swiftly strike with his saber. It collided head-on with the saber light. Thud. Although the giant bear's head was extremely hard with strong defense, it couldn't withstand Lu Yun's serious saber strike. After eliminating another giant bear, Lu Yun withdrew his blade and prepared to choose the right moment again. The remaining two giant bears became even more enraged, and when they realized they couldn't catch up with Lu Yun, their powerful strength crazily bombarded the surrounding thick trees. Soon, a chaotic battlefield was cleared around them. At this time, Lu Yun's saber strike suddenly arrived with the move Domineering Carnage from the 7 Kills saber technique. This ultimate strike not only had the blessing of pure Yang aura, but also carried the slaughter conception. The giant bear was momentarily stunned by the overwhelming force as the strike neared. It was the brief pause of the giant bear that allowed the terrifying strike to accurately and relentlessly pierce its heart, passing through from the front to the back. The huge wound on the giant bear's body was not only filled with killing intent, but also an intense burning sensation. Lu Yun stood with his saber, looking at the last giant bear. Even though the remaining giant bear was at the 3rd rank mid-stage, Lu Yun had no intention of dodging it anymore. A mere mid-stage, rank 3 bear demon was not something he needed to avoid. Earlier, he had been cautious to prevent accidents and to continue honing his Gale Thunder Flash step. Now only one giant bear remains. Unable to put any more pressure on him or help him refine his movement technique, Lu Yun decides to end the battle. Both hands firmly grip the Tigerhead broadsaber. The once refined pure Yang aura courses through his dantian, along his meridians, finally gathering on the blade. The saber gleams and releases aggressive aura, evaporating snowflakes falling from the sky from a distance. Thunderous light flickers beneath his feet, and Lu Yun brandishes the Tigerhead broadsaber, transforming into a bolt of lightning as he lunges. The giant bear stands on the cold ground and watches Lu Yun charge at him. When Lu Yun is about 10 zhang away, the bear suddenly opens its mouth, releasing a thunderous roar. Howl! Like a thunderclap, the terrifying sonic wave spreads out in a fan shape, the powerful force causing the surrounding snow to dance wildly while the severed limbs and trees on the ground shudder nonstop. In the face of such an intense sound wave, Lu Yun has no choice but to stop and use his aggressive aura to seal his ears, while simultaneously deploying an aura barrier around his body. Lu Yun underestimates the giant bear and is careless to fall into its trap, leaving his entire body numb and his nose bleeding. Such negligence is truly unwarranted. Boom! Seizing the opportunity of Lu Yun's negligence, the giant bear swiftly closes the distance, its mountain-like body menacingly approaching Lu Yun. The thick and sturdy bear foot stomps down, intending to crush Lu Yun into a pulp. Lu Yun's attack is only obstructed, not his body movement. He executes a quick dodge, avoiding the colossal bearfoot's impact, while simultaneously sending a flash of saber light towards the bear's eyes. At this moment, Lu Yun senses yet another attack coming from the left and right, realizing that it's the giant bear's paws closing in. Lu Yun abruptly stomps with one foot, and his entire body leaps up in an instant, chopping with his saber onto the giant bear's head. Clang! A crisp sound bursts forth, accompanied by sparks. This strike only managed to draw a shallow wound on the bear's head. This outcome is within Lu Yun's expectations, as he mainly focused on escaping the bear's combined claw attack earlier. Most of his strength was spent on the sudden leap. This casual strike had already exceeded his expectations. Using the rebound force of this strike, Lu Yun once again increases the distance between them. Against this brutish and agile giant bear, close-quarters combat puts Lu Yun at a disadvantage, making it difficult for him to execute his powerful saber techniques. Now, at a safe distance, Lu Yun's pure yang aggressive aura surges once more. At the same time, deep within his mind, a blood-red lotus suddenly blooms. Unaware of this, Lu Yun focuses all his attention on his saber. With the constantly growing radiance on the tiger-head broadsaber, an intense red killing intent pervades the area within 10 zhang around him. Dying under this saber is your honor. Lu Yun firmly grasps the handle, and the diffused killing intent gathers in an instant, concentrating entirely on the tiger-head broadsaber. The blood-colored saber light instantly lengthens and stretches, enveloping the entire sky in crimson. The furious giant bear casually snaps a thick tree and wildly brandishes it as a weapon, creating a massive storm aimed at Lu Yun. However, just as it approaches 10 zhang, near Lu Yun, it's enveloped in a blood-red haze, filled with frenzied and sharp aggressive aura. The incomparably sturdy tree is instantly reduced to shreds, and the terrifying bear's body is penetrated, leaving it with blood-red wounds. 7-kill saber technique, desperate gambit. With the release of his saber, the blood-red saber light plummets like a crimson world, descending, pulling the giant bear's enormous body with it. The blood-red saber light lasts only for a few breaths' time, but it leaves a horrifying trench in the empty snowfield, filled with a thick killing intent. As for that third-rank giant bear, it completely vanishes within the 10th level of the Myriad Phenomena Tower. The 10th level is nothing more than this. Lu Yun sheathes his saber and stands still, expressionless, as he looks at the vortex-like gateway appearing before him. Chapter 91, Chapter 91. Chapter 91, Training and Improvement, Seeking Subscription, Monthly Ticket. Chapter 91. Chapter 91, Training and Improvement, Seeking Subscription, Monthly Ticket, Myriad Phenomena Towers, 11th floor. This space was no longer covered in snow, nor were there towering trees. Instead, there was an endless green grassland and a crystal blue sky, making it look especially comfortable. The cold expression that Lu Yun had previously left behind from using the slaughter conception instantly melted away. On the green grass, a group of tall and majestic horses leisurely wandered. These horses' bodies seemed to be burning with silver flames, with long limbs, strong physique, and crystal-like eyes. These were windstorm silverscale horses, demon beasts with extremely terrifying speed. B0XO. Their backs were covered in shiny, white silver scales that emitted a powerful aura from afar. Most importantly, there were a lot of windstorm silverscale horses, at least 100, and each had an incredibly strong aura. In short, they were far more powerful than martial artists in the early true Qi realm. Upon seeing Lu Yun, these windstorm silverscale horses became agitated one by one, their bodies flickering with silver light, clearly hostile towards this uninvited guest. Although they were only demon beasts created by the Myriad Phenomena Tower, their intelligence was not weaker than real demon beasts. Lu Yun looked at these windstorm silverscale horses, without any intention to fight them yet. Strange, why are there so many demon beasts on each floor of the Myriad Phenomena Tower? Not only were there many demon beasts, but their strength was not weak either. Disciples of the same level from the Martial Academy simply could not pass through. Take the 10th floor as an example. Most of the Martial Academy disciples in the middle of the true Qi realm, even if they could kill those second-rank peak giant bears, would absolutely not be a match for those 4 third-rank giant bears, let alone the one among them that had reached the middle of the 3rd rank. If Lu Yun wasn't so powerful with his aggressive aura, he wouldn't have easily passed the 10th floor either. While contemplating these events, a group of windstorm silverscale horses in the distance suddenly erupted, their hooves digging into the ground, and their bodies flickering with silver light as they all attacked Lu Yun at once. Their speed was incredibly fast, almost turning into silver light as they charged, creating a vast expanse of silver, which was both shocking and surprising to Lu Yun. What a frightening speed! Even Lu Yun couldn't help but be astonished by the speed displayed by these windstorm silver scale horses. Besides the shock, there was also joy. Perhaps the improvement of the Gale Thunder Flash step has finally arrived. Lu Yun's figure swiftly moved like lightning, instantly traversing dozens of feet, far exceeding the speed that ordinary true Qi realm martial artists could achieve. Where Lu Yun had just left, silver light rained down like a downpour, with terrifying attacks erupting and leaving a horrifying chasm on the ground. Huff! Huff! Seeing their attacks miss, all of the windstorm silver scale horses immediately became furious, breathing out hot flames from their mouths, attacking ahead. TSK, TSK. They even have long-range attacks. Isn't that a bit too much? Lu Yun exclaimed in surprise, his feet flashing with thunderous light, creating a sharp and smooth wind as he moved quickly across the field, his posture elegant and aggressive. He landed on a large rock in the distance, but just as he steadied himself, his vision was again filled with silver flames. Without any delay, he swiftly dodged. The large rock he was just standing on crumbled into pieces, sending rubble flying everywhere. At the same time, a wave of silver light chased after Lu Yun from behind, coming from the windstorm silver scale horses. Their displayed speed was not weaker than Lu Yun's Gale Thunder Flash step at great accomplishment, and some of them even faintly surpassed his speed. At that moment, a glimmer of brightness suddenly appeared in Lu Yun's eyes. He felt that his speed had unexpectedly increased at this critical moment, and although the increase was small, he instantly sensed it. With a portion of his mind on the panel, he saw that the training progress of Gale Thunder Flash step had already been raised to 55% great accomplishment. Seeing this, Lu Yun couldn't help but feel overjoyed. This time, the training progress increased by a whole 5%, the equivalent of at least 15 energy points. As expected, I guessed correctly. This place is truly a treasure trove for cultivation. A wave of silver sea approached, threatening to completely engulf Lu Yun. Perhaps I can improve even faster. Lu Yun's eyes brightened as he moved like a silver dragon across the sky, leaving a beautiful trace and narrowly escaping the silver sea. He then charged directly into the windstorm silver scale horses. Provoked by Lu Yun, the herd of windstorm silver scale horses became even more ferocious, blowing silver flames from their nostrils. Thud! Thud! They glowed with a silver brilliance, stomped their hooves, and let out proud, long neighs. In an instant, the entire plain trembled, and the deafening neighs echoed. The massive herd of windstorm silver scale horses charged, and their shimmering silver hooves stomped forward. Lu Yun's figure flickered, and several deep marks appeared in his place. Within the massive herd of windstorm silver scale horses, Lu Yun could not afford to be careless for even a moment, constantly dodging. The only thing he could do now was use the Gale Thunder Flash step to its fullest, transforming into a bolt of lightning as he fled. The windstorm silver scale horses were swift and quick to react. Any ordinary martial artist in the early stage of the true Qi realm would have been crushed by their silver hooves by now. Only Lu Yun could cultivate a top-tier body technique to the realm of great accomplishment in the early stage of the true Qi realm and hone his skills amidst the terrifyingly fast windstorm silver scale horses. After an hour of actual combat training, the progress of his Gale Thunder Flash step increased by another 5%. At the same time, the frighteningly fast silver hooves of windstorm silver scale horses stepped forward, while silver flames spewed from the gaping mouths behind him. Silver light beams came from the left and right as well. In such a situation, there was absolutely no way to avoid everything. Lu Yun shone with a white light like a sun hanging in the sky. His body was enveloped by the pure yang aura, which was both unyielding and aggressive, blocking attacks from all sides. Scram! Lu Yun shouted, and the pure yang aura erupted, sending the surrounding windstorm silverscale horses flying with immense power. However, more windstorm silverscale horses rushed in from behind to attack him. With a whoosh, Lu Yun's figure moved again like a slippery lightning snake, leaping over the tall body of a windstorm silverscale horse. He re-entered the actual combat training to hone his body technique. The vast and immense pure yang aggressive aura was enough to support Lu Yun's prolonged use of his Gale Thunder Flash step at great accomplishment. An hour later, the Gale Thunder Flash step was 64% complete. 4 hours later, the Gale Thunder Flash step reached 67%. With the advancement of the Gale Thunder Flash step, it became easier for Lu Yun to deal with these windstorm silverscale horses, but the effectiveness of his training gradually weakened. Eventually, after the Gale Thunder Flash step reached 70% completion, Lu Yun exited the Myriad Phenomena Tower. It was him who left the Myriad Phenomena Tower. At this time, Lu Yun had less than 30% of his aggressive aura left. No one should know that I managed to pass the 10th floor of the Myriad Phenomena Tower, right? On Myriad Phenomena Square, Lu Yun glanced at the Myriad Phenomena Jade Wall, and there was no information about him. After taking a look around, the other people who saw him did not reveal any surprised expressions, but just greeted him with a smile. Lu Yun confirmed that nobody knew he had passed the 10th floor of the Myriad Phenomena Tower. This outcome was precisely in line with his expectations. After exchanging pleasantries with others, Lu Yun quickly left the Myriad Phenomena Square. Almost right away when he left the Myriad Phenomena Tower, Yi Xingchen, who was lying on a sleeping chair asterisk under a large tree in a peaceful and serene small courtyard, suddenly opened his eyes. His turbid and deep eyes emitted a trace of brilliance. Chapter 92. Chapter 92. Chapter 92. Encounter with Mu Qingyun again. Third update. Chapter 92. Chapter 92. Encounter with Mu Qingyun again. Third update. Internal Affairs Hall, Pill Medicine Building. The disciple who attended to Lu Yun was still the same as before. The disciple's surname is Yao. His name is Lin. He is quite astute and enthusiastic. Seeing Lu Yun, he greeted him with a smile right away. "Senior brother Lu, I haven't seen you in months, and your aura is becoming more and more unfathomable. You're not bad either. You're already in the mid-stage of the Meridian Passage realm and have a solid innate talent. With another month or two of hard work, you should be able to break through." B0XO. Calm Lu Yun glanced at Yao Lin and saw his details clearly. Originally, even if he was a realm above Yao Lin, he could only see his realm at most, but not how long he had been immersed in it, only having a vague idea. However, after comprehending the slaughter conception, he could see more, although he was not sure why. "Hee, Senior brother Lu has a good eye." Yao Lin blatantly flattered Lu Yun, and then asked with a grin, "Senior brother Lu, are you here to exchange for Meridian pills again?" "Meridian pills no longer have any effect on me. This time, I want to exchange for Profound Origin pills." Profound Origin pills? Yao Lin was momentarily stunned, but quickly recovered, his face filled with shock as he said incredulously, "You have broken through to the true Qi realm?" Lu Yun looked dismissively at him and replied irritably, "It's just the true Qi realm. It's not worth making such a fuss." Then he quickly glanced around and unobtrusively pulled Yao Lin into a corner. "Try to be calm. One don't want too many people to know about my breakthrough." Yao Lin hastily nodded and promised solemnly, "Don't worry, Senior brother Lu, I will keep it a secret and won't mention it to anyone else." As he spoke, Yao Lin's face reddened slightly, clearly due to excessive excitement. Lu Yun couldn't help but smile inwardly, feeling somewhat relieved that the news of his passing the 10th level of the Myriad Phenomena Tower had not spread yet. Just breaking through to the true Qi realm was enough to make Yao Lin react like this, and the other disciples wouldn't fare much better. Oh, by the way, how many contribution points does a bottle of Profound Origin pills cost? Lu Yun now had 5,800 contribution points on his token, 800 from completing Black Rank demon slaying missions, 2,000 from passing the 9th level of the Myriad Phenomena Tower, and 3,000 from passing the 10th level. Even with nearly 6,000 contribution points, he still needed to be careful with how he spent them. 500 contribution points. Due to Lu Yun's previous reminder, Yao Lin's voice was much softer when speaking, and might not have been clear in such a noisy environment if it were not for Lu Yun's keen hearing. "Give me 6 bottles. After pondering for a while, Lu Yun changed his mind. "I want exchange for 7 bottles. As he spoke, he handed his token to Yao Lin. "All right, please wait a moment." Yao Lin took the token and ran off. Not long after, he returned to Lu Yun, panting, with the token in one hand and 7 exquisitely made jade bottles in the other. "Senior Brother Lu, I'm sorry to have kept you waiting." Yao Lin took a deep breath and carefully handed the token and Profound Origin pills to Lu Yun. 7 bottles of Profound Origin pills, a total of 3,500 contribution points, leaving 2,300 contribution points. "Senior Brother Lu, please check to see if there are any issues." Lu Yun simply nodded and did not check, instead putting away the token and Profound Origin pills and taking his leave. As soon as he left the pill medicine building, he encountered someone he did not expect to see. "Brother Lu." Seeing Lu Yun, Mu Qingyun did not avoid him. Instead, he walked right up to greet him. Lu Yun's eyes flashed, and he laughed. "It turns out to be Brother Mu. One haven't had a chance to thank you for your pills last time." "Haha, Brother Lu, you're joking." Considering Lu Yun's teasing, Mu Qingyun did not mind at all, chatting casually for a while before taking his leave. As soon as Mu Qingyun turned the corner, the smile on his face vanished abruptly, replaced by a look of hatred. "It's you, it must be you." His fists clenched tightly as he resisted turning back, fearing that if he saw that hateful face again, he wouldn't be able to resist attacking. In the face of the vast gap between them, attacking would lead to only one outcome: digging his own grave. Mu Qingyun had always been jealous and hateful of Lu Yun, the village boy. After entering the martial academy, he found the gap between them growing even larger. Instead of reducing his jealousy and hatred, it grew deeper. However, Mu Qingyun was cunning, not showing his true feelings on his face, burying them deep in his heart, and plotting to take revenge on Lu Yun. His first thought was to stop Lu Yun from progressing, and the best way to do that was to destroy Spirit Creek Village, which would demoralize Lu Yun for a while. Some geniuses might never rise again after such a setback. Even if Lu Yun did not succumb completely, he would still be delayed for several months because of it, giving Mu Qingyun a chance to catch up. And this was just the first step. There would be a second step, and even a third step. However, the news he received was of the destruction of Skywind Stronghold instead of the massacre of Spirit Creek Village, as well as his father and the Breeze Mountain Villa elders being killed by an unknown powerful individual overnight. In his extreme hatred, Mu Qingyun did not think much and directly linked this to Lu Yun, even if he did not believe Lu Yun was capable of such things. To verify this, he went to Lu Yun's small courtyard. As luck would have it, Lu Yun was not there during that time, which further confirmed his suspicions. "Lu Yun, regardless of whether this has anything to do with you, one will destroy you. I must elsewhere." Lu Yun returned to his small courtyard as evening fell, not in the mood to practice martial arts, but instead contemplating Mu Qingyun's situation. It's been so long, and news of Qin Peak Manor must have reached his ears by now. He's acting so normal in front of me now. It's unbelievable if he doesn't have any ulterior motives. It had been over 2 months since he killed Mu Qingfeng and the others. By now, Mu Qingyun should know what had happened, even if his information was limited. After learning about the events at Breeze Mountain Villa, Mu Qingyun's normal reaction should have been sadness or despair, for a while, not greeting his fellow villager with a smile. Either he is heartless and gullible, or he has something to hide, and is trying to cover it up. With this in mind, Lu Yun thought back to the events at Skywind Stronghold and the many clues involved. Breeze Mountain Villa had no grudges with Spirit Creek Village. The only connection was between Mu Qingyun and himself. First there were minor conflicts, then jealousy turned to hatred, and finally the hiring of an assassin to kill. But this is just my speculation. Lu Yun pondered many things in his mind. If everything were as he expected, then Mu Qingyun was no simple person. Restricted by the rules of the academy, he could not do anything openly to Mu Qingyun, unless it was outside the academy and in a situation where no one was present. Regardless, Mu Qingyun must die. Allowing a fly like him to continue existing will eventually cause trouble. With this thought, a fierce light flickered in Lu Yun's eyes. Chapter 93, Chapter 93, Chapter 93, Pure, Yang Martial Arts Canon, 4th Update. Chapter 93, Chapter 93, Pure, Yang Martial Arts Canon, 4th Update. The next day, Lu Yun woke up early, rising to practice Gale Thunder, Flash Step, even before dawn. Another round of practice went by without much noticeable improvement. It'd be strange if he could make genuine progress in such a small courtyard using Gale Thunder Flash Step. Lu Yun wasn't bothered, though. He was just restless and wanted to get some exercise. B0XO. Calm returning to his room to wipe the sweat from his face, Lu Yun pulled out the Profound Origin pills and started refining them. In no time, all 7 bottles of Profound Origin pills had been completely refined. With a feeling of excitement, Lu Yun opened his panel. Name: Lu Yun, Power, Flying Spirit Martial Academy. Martial Arts, Breaking Wind Saber Technique, Perfection, Irreversible. 7 Kill Saber Technique, Reach Profound, Irreversible. Black Tiger Saber Technique, Perfection, Irreversible. Gale Thunder Flash Step, Great Accomplishment, 70%. Golden Sun Refining Technique, Entry Level 1%, can be fused. Innate Talent, Level 6, A/I Martial Arts. Early True Chi Realm, 1 Refinement. Energy Value, 2,481, automatically increased by 1 every 2 days. Conception, Slaughter Conception, first rank 5%. SSS, 2,481 energy values. Lu Yun gasped for breath, his eyes gleaming with excitement and joy. 7 bottles of Profound Origin pills, 70 in total, added up to 2,450 energy values. This meant each Profound Origin pill was equivalent to 35 energy values, the same efficiency as when he broke through to the True Chi realm. Previously, because of breaking through, the efficiency of converting body-tempering pills into energy value had decreased. Lu Yun had assumed that the same would happen to the Profound Origin pills after advancing to the True Chi realm. However, the result was not as he thought. It was still 35 energy values per Profound Origin pill. During the Meridian Passage realm, the use of body-tempering pills lessened the efficiency of energy value conversion because it wasn't useful for martial artists at that stage. After one advanced to the True Chi realm, the conversion efficiency of the Profound Origin pills' energy value didn't change because these pills are meant for martial artists in the True Chi realm. If this guess is correct, even if I refine the pill for Origin Fluid realm or even higher level pills now, ITLL yield the same result as refining them when I reach those stages in the future. At this thought, Lu Yun smirked inwardly. If his deduction was correct, then this panel is seriously cunning. All thanks to this panel, there are no instructions. I have to figure out everything by myself, and it even prevents me from taking advantage of bugs. After a bit of grumbling, Lu Yun reopened the fusion panel for Golden Sun 10 refinement. Pure Yang Aura and Golden Sun 10 refinement can be fused. Fusing will consume 1,300 energy values. A whole 1,300 energy values. I hope it gets a more domineering name after the fusion. Golden Sun 10 refinement is too ordinary. Murmuring to himself, Lu Yun didn't hesitate or even blink as he silently commanded the fusion. Instantly, the A-9 origin technique and Golden Sun refining technique disappeared from the panel. The fusion of the two brought about drastic changes compared to when Mix origin technique and Golden Sun refining technique were previously fused. At the moment of fusion, Lu Yun's aura underwent drastic changes. Not only was the pure Yang aura in his Dantian refined once more, his physical body began to change as well. He could feel every piece of flesh, blood, and bone rapidly improving, the enhancement of his physical strength and increase in power. Next, a massive amount of memories flooded his brain. Under the onslaught of these flood-like memories, Lu Yun entered a strange state. It seemed as if only a moment or an entire year had passed. When Lu Yun finally regained his senses, a new piece of information appeared on the panel. 1,300 energy values consumed, Mix origin technique and Golden Sun 10 refinement have fused to create a new martial art, pure Yang martial arts canon. This message lingered for more than 10 breaths before disappearing. Following it, in the martial arts column on the panel, the original position of the Golden Sun 10 refinement was replaced by the pure Yang martial arts canon. Pure Yang martial arts canon. True Chi chapter. Entry level 1%. This new martial art, although it doesn't sound very dominating, is simple and straightforward. Moreover, based on the memories that revealed in his mind, the pure Yang martial arts canon is the canon of pure Yang martial arts, now divided into entry-level, Meridian Passage Realm, and True Chi chapter. Afterwards, as more martial arts and cultivation techniques get integrated, the pure Yang martial arts canon will gradually improve. That is to say, from this point forward, Lu Yun's cultivation system is set in place based on the foundation of the pure Yang martial arts canon. If he wants to change, he can only start over from the beginning. Feeling the potential terror of the pure Yang martial arts canon, Lu Yun naturally won't switch to other systems. Especially after merging into the pure Yang martial arts canon, his overall strength has significantly increased. The current True Chi chapter is also quite extraordinary. It can help him complete 12 refinements. Not only that, his physical defense has also grown to a certain extent. With a wave of his hand, the tiger head broadsaber at the head of the bed flew into his hand. Looking at the sharp blade, Lu Yun grabbed the hilt in one hand, then lightly brushed it against the other hand. Sizzle! A cold sensation transmitted, leaving a faint trace on his arm, with no pain whatsoever. Using half the strength, he once again brushed it over his arm. A slight pain came through. Simultaneously, a shallow red line appeared on his arm. A little bit of fresh blood filtered out, then quickly coagulated and scabbed over. Seeing this, satisfaction flashed in Lu Yun's eyes. Although the tigerhead broadsaber is not a true artifact, it ranks at the top among ordinary weapons. Being exceptionally sharp, it has even killed several third-rank demon beasts, without employing aggressive aura for protection, and adding only half brute strength to the tigerhead broadsaber. It only left a shallow scar on his arm. This shows the horror of his present body. In less than 10 minutes, the scar on his arm quickly healed. His recovery power is simply extraordinary. This may just be the beginning of the pure Yang martial arts canon. A smile bloomed on Lu Yun's face. This is just the outcome at the entry level. Possessing such defensive and recovery powers, he looks forward to the physical body after the pure yang martial arts canon True Chi chapter has reached great accomplishment and perfection, just how strong it will be. His gaze fell back onto the martial arts section of the fusion panel. Martial arts, breaking wind saber technique, perfection, cannot be promoted. 7 kill saber technique, reach profound, cannot be promoted. Black tiger saber technique, perfection, cannot be promoted. Gale thunder flash step, great accomplishment, 70%. Pure yang martial arts canon, True Chi chapter, entry level 1%. Compared to before, it is undoubtedly much simpler. It would be even better if the breaking wind saber technique, black tiger saber technique, 7 kill saber technique could be fused. Such a thought arose in Lu Yun's heart. As his strength improves, the breaking wind saber technique and black tiger saber technique are not enough for him to use. Even the 7 kill saber technique that helped him comprehend the slaughter conception seems somewhat insufficient. If these could be merged into one new saber technique, it would be an addition of wings to a tiger for him. Pity, not everything can go as one wishes. On stepping out, he saw the sun had just risen to its zenith. Lu Yun casually washed his face, then left the courtyard, heading towards the cafeteria exclusive for elite disciples. He had not eaten for some time, his stomach needed replenishing, and he also wanted to fulfill his appetite. Upon reaching the cafeteria, he saw several somewhat familiar new faces, all new disciples who had joined the martial academy around the same time as Lu Yun. These people all had less than level 5 innate talent, and were all ordinary disciples at the beginning. Now, being able to come to the cafeteria in the elite disciples area, it proves that they passed the academy's examination and became part of the elite disciples. Lu Yun casually scanned them. They were all at the Meridian Passage realm, and their auras were all fairly solid. Senior brother Lu. Senior brother Lu. Upon seeing Lu Yun, everyone took the initiative to greet him, and also left an independent seat for Lu Yun. Those disciples who were doing tasks in the cafeteria, even more so, voluntarily served Lu Yun his meals. A large bowl of fine rice, 3 meat dishes, 1 vegetable dish, and a bowl of replenishing soup. Thank you. After uttering his thanks, Lu Yun sat down and began to eat. That's just how the world is. Once you have shown enough potential and strength, there will be plenty of people running to work for you. Lu Yun didn't like it, but that didn't mean he refused to enjoy it. Chapter 94. Chapter 94. Chapter 94. The 12 Provinces of Morijin. Chapter 94. Chapter 94. The 12 Provinces of Morijin. After leaving the cafeteria, Lu Yun headed straight to the book collection pavilion. Seeing Lu Yun enter the pavilion, a flicker of sharp light flashed in the elderly eyes of the elder, who guarded it, though it was not easy to detect. This little fellow has been in the martial academy for less than a year and has already reached the True Chi realm. His cultivation speed is even stronger than those with level 6 innate talent. No wonder he has caught the dean's attention. Inside the first floor of the book collection pavilion, in addition to martial arts books, there were many other miscellaneous books. Among the miscellaneous books, there were books about the geography and astronomical knowledge of the 9 provinces in the Morijin dynasty, and there were also books on common knowledge of the martial arts realm. B0XO. Furthermore, there were books on pills, spiritual materials, weapons, and so on. Lu Yun's main purpose this time was to read books on the topic of insights. It was somewhat difficult to find a book of interest among the vast sea of miscellaneous books. Fortunately, Lu Yun was not in a hurry. He slowly rummaged through the books and would pause when he found something interesting while taking notes for borrowing when he had enough contribution points. Suddenly, he came across a book called Chronicles of Morijin, and the introduction immediately piqued Lu Yun's curiosity. A long time ago, The Morrigan world was plagued by demon beasts, conflicts among sects, power struggles among aristocratic families, wars among provincial governments, and rampant bandits. However, 800 years ago, a mysterious powerhouse emerged. He did not belong to any sect or aristocratic family. It was as if he suddenly descended upon this world, showing off terrifyingly unparalleled means. He united the provincial governments, subdued major aristocratic families, suppressed various sects, and established the Morrigan dynasty. From then on, the Morrigan dynasty was born, and this mysterious powerhouse naturally became the first-generation primordial emperor. After the establishment of the Morrigan dynasty, the primordial emperor mobilized the power of all sects and aristocratic families within the dynasty to fight against the demon beasts. They eventually achieved victory, driving the beasts out of the human territory. Then, he divided the original territory where demon beasts and humans lived into 9 provinces and established counties. He also set up martial academies in various counties to attract all talents within the Morrigan territory, aimed at strengthening the dynasty and weakening the power of aristocratic families and sections. Those sects were understandably unwilling to compromise. For them, submission meant extinction. In the 30th year of the Morrigan dynasty, the war between the sects and the dynasty broke out. In the end, the sects were either annihilated or forced to flee from the 9 provinces. It was since then that martial arts and cultivation techniques were no longer monopolized by sects and noble aristocratic families. Commoners with good innate talent could join martial academies, and those with poorer talent could join the army, both able to learn martial arts and cultivation techniques. Upon reading this far, the opening came to an end, and Lu Yun unconsciously flipped to the next page. Lu Yun's eyes flashed with a glint of surprise. Oh, one can actually keep reading. He then continued to read page by page and encountered no resistance. Finally, Lu Yun finished reading Chronicles of Morrigan and picked up another book, easily finishing it again without any hindrance. Then he read another, and the same result ensued. Lu Yun quickly came to a conclusion. All miscellaneous books in the book collection pavilion were free. Martial Academy disciples could browse them at will without spending any contribution points. Upon learning this, Lu Yun was naturally overjoyed. Due to his background and experiences, he was relatively lacking in knowledge about martial arts and other matters. It was necessary for him to read and learn more to widen his horizons and enrich his knowledge. The vast sea of miscellaneous books in the book collection pavilion not only covered astronomy, geography, and other topics, but also touched upon martial arts, pills, spiritual materials, and more that Lu Yun was lacking. If contribution points were needed for browsing these books, the amount required would far exceed the limit Lu Yun could bear. Now that he could browse them directly without any cost, it not only saved a huge amount of contribution points for Lu Yun, but also allowed him to browse and absorb knowledge to his heart's content by expanding his horizons. Lu Yun no longer searched for books on insights slowly. He decided to read all the miscellaneous books once through. The first set he read were about Morrigan historical events and geography. The first-generation primordial emperor swept through sects and aristocratic families, expelled demon beasts, divided the 9 provinces, promoted martial arts throughout the world, established unparalleled merit, and eventually abdicated in the 500th year of the Morrigan. Since then, there was no news of him. After the accession of the second-generation primordial emperor, the sect forces that had escaped from the 9 provinces began to rally back. Although the current primordial emperor did not possess the supreme power of the first-generation primordial emperor, the Morrigan, which gathered the talents and human luck from the 9 provinces, was not something those sect forces could contend with. They could only choose to erode it gradually. So that's where the so-called evil cults came from. Lu Yun finally understood why sects, like the White Lotus sect, were considered evil cults. It would indeed be strange if opposing the court would not be seen as an evil cult. It took 2 days to finish reading the history and geography of Morrijin. At its inception, Morrijin only had 9 provinces. After continuously driving out demon beasts and developing new territories, 3 more provinces were established. Today, there are 12 provinces altogether: Central Province, Wu Province, Qing Province, Yun Province, Yang Province, Jing Province, Yu Province, Liang Province, Yong Province, Yu Province, Yin Province, and Ling Province. Among them, Yu Province, Yen Province, and Ling Province are newly developed territories. Beyond the 12 provinces, there are still vast expanses of land. As for the regions beyond the 12 provinces, there are no records of them in the book collection pavilion. Lu Yun doesn't mind this, as the size of a single province is already enough to shock him, let alone the territories beyond the 12 provinces. According to the books, Ling Province was developed 300 years ago and has grown to have 36 prefectures to this day. In just one of the 36 prefectures, Spirit Martial Prefecture, there are tens of millions of people. From this, it can be inferred how vast Ling Province is and how wide Morrijin is. After spending 2 days and nights in the book collection pavilion without rest, Lu Yun not only didn't feel tired, but became even more energetic, picking up another book from the shelf. This book is about the theory of pill medicine, and Lu Yun is even more eager to read it. Lu Yun's memory is excellent now, almost swallowing everything in one go, yet still being able to remember the knowledge he had read. Unless it's a very difficult and obscure knowledge point, those require a little more time. After several days of reading books, Lu Yun finally understood the uses and effects of various pills. Pills, like martial arts realms, are also graded. Pills are divided into 9 grades, and within the same grade, there are many types which help martial artists speed up their cultivation, break through bottlenecks, and so on. In addition, there are pills to recover from injuries, enhance spiritual power, replenish true qi, true origin, and so on. In short, pills are indispensable auxiliary tools for martial artists. Their role is no less than martial arts and cultivation techniques. First-grade pills are the lowest level and have the greatest effect on martial artists in the intermartial realm, such as the body-tempering pill. The meridian pill and profound origin pill are 2nd and 3rd-grade pills, respectively. 9th-grade pills are the highest level, but such pills are priceless and scarce. At least, there has never been a 9th-grade pill in Spirit Martial Prefecture. Pills can only be refined by alchemists. It is incredibly difficult to become an alchemist. It requires not only exceptional talent, but also a certain degree of perseverance and inheritance, which has led to a scarcity of alchemists in Morrijin. As rarity increases value, so too do people. Pills, as indispensable auxiliary tools for martial artists on their martial arts path, give alchemists a high status. Lu Yun is indifferent to the status of alchemists, as in his view, only absolute strength can truly consolidate one's position. If one learn alchemy myself, wouldn't it be much easier for me to accumulate energy points later? This idea, like a spark, instantly ignited a raging fire in Lu Yun's heart. However, simply relying on the books in the book collection pavilion is not enough for Lu Yun to become an alchemist. To become an alchemist, the most basic requirement is to have talent. The so-called talent refers to having high spiritual power and strong comprehension ability. In terms of talent, Lu Yun wasn't worried at all. However, having talent alone doesn't necessarily mean one can become an alchemist. To become the lowest level 1st-grade alchemist, one must not only have talent, but also be very familiar with various alchemy materials, including their attributes, uses, and so on. In addition, one must also know the specific steps of alchemy, possess the corresponding pill prescriptions, and a furnace for pill refining. Up to now, the only thing Lu Yun possesses is talent. Considering all this, Lu Yun temporarily suppressed the idea of becoming an alchemist. Chapter 95. Chapter 95. Chapter 95. Martial Arts Conception. Chapter 95. Chapter 95. Martial Arts Conception. A month later, Lu Yun finally stepped out of the book collection pavilion. At this time, Lu Yun's face had gained a touch of maturity, especially his eyes, which had become more clear and wise. Reading makes people wise and profound. In half a month, Lu Yun had read at least thousands of books of various types, which broadened his knowledge and insights in many aspects. Besides, Lu Yun found that his slaughter conception had also grown slightly. Not much growth, only by 3 stages, but this made Lu Yun marvel at its inconceivability. B0XO. Come, although he didn't know the cause, this change undoubtedly made Lu Yun more eager to immerse himself in the ocean of knowledge. Only now did he come out of the book collection pavilion. It wasn't that he had finished reading all the miscellaneous books on the first floor, but rather a month of not eating or drinking had made him unbearably hungry. Upon arriving at the elite disciples' cafeteria, the table was filled with dishes, most of which were energy-packed meats. The surrounding disciples gathered in 2s and 3s, discussing some interesting anecdotes about the martial academy. As always, there were never a lack of gossip mongers. As soon as they heard some insider news, people quickly gathered around, bustling with excitement. The one at the center was a young man in a purple brocade robe, with an extraordinary temperament and eloquence. Lu Yun had a vague impression of him. He was a disciple from an intermediate aristocratic family in Spirit Martial Prefecture named Yi Shouwen. Yi Shouwen casually pulled open his robe, sat down on a stool, looked at the crowd, and smiled. Did you all hear? A few days ago, a newcomer disciple passed the 10th floor of the Myriad Phenomena Tower. As soon as his words were spoken, they immediately caused a stir among the crowd. Many disciples who were eating couldn't help but put down their chopsticks and prick up their ears. My goodness, don't be so fierce. These newcomers haven't even been in the Martial Academy for 1 year. They're passing the 10th floor of the Myriad Phenomena Tower so quickly. It wouldn't be long before they can get rid of their elite disciple status and officially become Star Palace disciples. The 10th floor of the Myriad Phenomena Tower was the nightmare of many disciples, thwarting numerous veteran elite disciples. Those who had only entered the Martial Academy for just a few years had never even stepped into the 9th floor, let alone the 10th. Some of the disciples were intrigued and couldn't wait to ask, "Quickly tell us which newcomer it is. Is it by Haoxuan, Xiaochun, or Lu Yun?" After speaking, he subtly glanced at another corner. There, Lu Yun was sitting. Others also looked over. Though Lu Yun rarely visited the cafeteria, it didn't mean others didn't know him. Yi Shouwen coughed and then whispered, "Xiaochun and Lu Yun have always been low-key, and I've rarely seen them, so I don't have much information on them. But one thing is for certain, even if they haven't passed the 10th floor of the Myriad Phenomena Tower now, it won't be long." Most of the people present were shrewd and understood the implications of these words, sighing at the news. However, there were always fools who didn't understand the underlying connections. One of them, a young man in a blue robe, spoke loudly. "Can't you guess? It's definitely by Haoxuan. He's the only level 6 innate talent among the newcomer disciples. Who else could pass the 10th floor of the Myriad Phenomena Tower in such a short time? As for Lu Yun and Xiaochun, they may be good, but they fall far short of Bai Haoxuan." After saying this, he looked proudly at the crowd, as if to say, "Look how smart 1 a.m." The others looked at him, strangely losing their appetite for gossip, and returned to their seats. Some of the disciples who had been sitting at the same table as the blue-robed youth quickly moved away, finding a new seat, wanting nothing to do with him. Seeing this, the blue-robed youth was dumbfounded. He looked at the others in confusion, not knowing what he had done to offend them. Finally, when his gaze landed on a corner of the cafeteria and saw Lu Yun, his pupils shrank dramatically. Not good. Why is the person involved here? By now, even if he was still a little confused, he knew what kind of blunder he had made. Geniuses often have peculiar personalities, and a casual word or deed could provoke their fury. As for geniuses, one could only befriend them or stay away from them, but never offend them. Now that he had gossiped about the main character himself and offended him, he was in trouble. After hesitating for a while, he finally plucked up the courage and walked up to Lu Yun. "Senior brother Lu, just now, one misspoke and accidentally offended you." Lu Yun looked up at the troubled young man in the blue robe and smiled. "What you said was the truth, and it wasn't wrong. How could it have offended me?" Having said that, he stood up and left without giving the other a second glance. After Lu Yun left the cafeteria, everyone gathered again. "What do you think Lu Yun meant by that?" the blue-robed youth asked, with unease. Yi Xiuwen looked at the blue-robed youth with a somewhat strange gaze, and, after pondering for a moment, said, "There are two outcomes. First, you're lucky, and Lu Yun doesn't take your unintentional words to heart and doesn't hold a grudge." Upon hearing this, the blue-robed youth breathed a sigh of relief and continued to ask, "What about the other outcome?" Yi Xiuwen said ominously, "Hee. In that case, you've brought a big disaster upon yourself, and from now on, you'll be constantly harassed by a genius disciple." After leaving the cafeteria, Lu Yun returned to the book collection pavilion, not paying any attention to the small incidents that happened in the cafeteria. The only thing that surprised him was that Bai Haoxuan had actually passed the 10th level of the Myriad Phenomena Tower. That's good too. In a while, one can go find the dean to honor the promise. He was very eager for the superior true artifact promised by the dean, but the most important thing at the moment was to finish reading all the miscellaneous books in the book collection pavilion. As the saying goes, read 10,000 books and travel 10,000 miles. The path of martial arts is like traveling. One needs to dabble in all aspects of knowledge in order to clear more obstacles for the ascent to the pinnacle of martial arts. Seeing Lu Yun again, the elder of the book collection pavilion opened his sparse eyes. At this moment, Lu Yun had a feeling like there was a thorn in his back, forcing him to stop in his tracks. "Little guy, miscellaneous knowledge is important, but only the realm is fundamental." After saying that, the elder's old eyes closed again. "Thank you for your guidance, elder. I'll remember it." Respectfully answering, Lu Yun only then entered the book collection pavilion. For these old antiques, appropriate respect is necessary. As for whether to listen or not, that's a separate matter. There were still very few people in the miscellaneous study area, with only a few disciples looking for the books they needed. Lu Yun didn't care about other people's plans. He came to a bookshelf and skillfully removed a book from among the many volumes and began to read it. In the blink of an eye, half a month had passed. At this time, Lu Yun finally found a book about martial arts conception. Naturally, Lu Yun was very excited about it. He immediately found a quiet corner and began to read quietly. Time passed, and 2 hours quickly went by. Lu Yun got up to put the book back in its original place, his brows furrowed, and his heart full of doubt. There were very few descriptions about martial arts conception, but there were still some good gains. Martial arts conception is a realm, a unity of form, spirit, emotion, and reason, a coordination of illusion and reality that emerges from accidents and hides within symbols. Similarly, martial arts conception is also a manifestation of spiritual power, invisible to the naked eye, but capable of exerting tremendous effects, shocking the soul, suppressing opponents, and enhancing one's own strength. There are many kinds of martial arts conceptions, such as sword intent, saber intent, ice and snow intent, slaughter conception, and so on. The slaughter conception that Lu Yun understood was an extension of its origin, an origin that belonged only to slaughter, evolved from the condensation of killing intent and murderous aura to the extreme. As long as he triggered the slaughter conception, his opponent's spirit would be shaken and suppressed, unable to exert their full strength. With the buff of slaughter conception, his own strength would also be enhanced. Conception is divided into 10 ranks from low to high. The first rank is the entry level, while the 10th rank is perfection. It is said that after the conception reaches perfection, it can manifest itself. At the moment, my slaughter conception is only at the first rank with 10% proficiency, just entering the door. One don't know when he'll be able to manifest the conception. Clearing his mind of all distractions, Lu Yun continued to flip through the next book. In another 10 days, he finally finished reading the remaining miscellaneous books. When he left, he had gained 2 more superior martial arts techniques in his possession. Chapter 96, Chapter 96, Chapter 96, White Scale Purple Gold Knife, 3rd update. Chapter 96, Chapter 96, White Scale Purple Gold Knife, 3rd update. Leaving the book collection pavilion, Lu Yun originally planned to go directly to see the dean. However, as soon as he came out of the book collection pavilion, he saw a man standing outside waiting. Chen Tianyun. At a glance, Lu Yun recognized the man. Just like the last time, Chen Tianyun was wearing a black robe. B0XO. Calm upon seeing Lu Yun's emergence, Chen Tianyun waved his hand, signaling Lu Yun to approach. Elder Chen, is there something you need? Yes, I've been waiting here for a long time. One was thinking about going in there and taking you out if you were not going to show up anymore. At his words, Lu Yun's expression changed slightly. Then he laughed and said, "Please forgive me, Elder. I encountered some confusion in martial arts and consequently had to seek solutions in the book collection pavilion. One didn't think that I would spend such a long time. It's normal to have doubts. Now, have you resolved them? I've gained a lot from this visit, and the doubts I had before are no longer there." Haha, one can see that. You've gained a lot, and you've changed a lot compared to a few months ago. After Chen Tianyun's unabashed praise for Lu Yun, he then changed the subject and sternly demanded, "Lu Yun, tell me the truth. Did you pass the 10th level of the Myriad Phenomena Tower a long time ago?" A terrifying aura blasted out, striking towards Lu Yun like a huge wave. This old guy, it's the same routine again. With a sense of helplessness in his heart, Lu Yun forced a few drops of sweat from his forehead, pretending to be in struggle. He stuttered, "Yes, I did pass the 10th level of the Myriad Phenomena Tower a month ago." With a flick of his sleeve, Chen Tianyun retracted his immense pressure and snorted coldly. "Why hide this? Elder, I've always kept a low profile and didn't publicize it. Plus, one had some doubts about martial arts that urgently needed to be resolved, so I spent some extra days in the book collection pavilion. I was just about to report it to the Martial Academy when you found me. I guess you wouldn't dare to fool me." A slight softening came over Chen Tianyun's stern face, and he said seriously, "Now follow me to see the dean." This was exactly what Lu Yun wanted, and he had no reason to object. "Follow me." As he turned around, Chen Tianyun was unable to maintain his previous cold demeanor, the corner of his mouth hooking into a slight curve. He thought to himself, at such a young age, he is already keeping a low profile. His future is limitless. But he views the Martial Academy too simply. It's all under the control of the dean. In fact, as soon as Lu Yun had just passed the 10th level of the Myriad Phenomena Tower, the Academy's dean, Yi Xingchen, was informed right away. He thought Lu Yun would come to find him very soon. After all, whether it's promoting to Star Palace disciple or obtaining a superior true artifact, it is a huge temptation for any new disciple. However, Lu Yun could withstand these two great temptations and did not appear for a long time. Conversely, Bai Haoxuan and Xiao Chun, who passed the 10th level of the Myriad Phenomena Tower after Lu Yun, visited him respectively while Lu Yun still did not appear. Left with no choice, Yi Xingchen was forced to summon him. Along the way, Lu Yun was trying to probe for other information, but Chun Tianyun was indifferent. Persistent, Lu Yun asked another question. Elder Chun, who else among the new disciples has passed the 10th level of Myriad Phenomena Tower besides me? Including you, only 3. The other 2 are Bai Haoxuan and Xiao Chun. You should have expected this. 11 this time. Chun Tianyun didn't stay silent and readily informed him. Having achieved a good start, Lu Yun took advantage of it. Elder, since 1 a.m. also about to become a disciple of the Star Palace, could you disclose some information about the Star Palace in advance to satisfy my curiosity? Chun Tianyun ignored him. Elder, Chun Tianyun still didn't respond, but instead quickened his pace. Upon seeing this, Lu Yun reluctantly sped up to keep up. The further they went, the quicker Chun Tianyun became, prompting Lu Yun to apply his Gale Thunder Flash Step technique. This kid, not too shabby with his speed. But do you think it's that simple? Chun Tianyun glanced behind at Lu Yun, a small smirk playing at the corner of his mouth as his speed suddenly rocketed several times faster. Seeing the gap between them widening, Lu Yun had no choice but to elevate his Gale Thunder Flash Step to a small achievement level, barely managing to keep up. Haha, not bad at all. Upon spotting Lu Yun catching up again, Chun Tianyun grinned, accelerating once more. Elder Chun, wait, Lu Yun shouted, maintaining the Gale Thunder Flash Step at small achievement level. He wasn't so foolish as to expose all his cards just because someone provoked him. Besides, even without Chun Tianyun, he could find Yi Xingchen's residence. Not long after, he caught up with Chun Tianyun again. Kid, you're not malting it. Your speed's as slow as a snail. Chun Tianyun scoffed and continued to lead the way. Before long, the two arrived once again at the tranquil and serene small courtyard. As always, the towering tree in the courtyard was flourishing with dense leaves, vividly green and unchanging for millennia, shading the ancient-looking small courtyard. As Chun Tianyun and Lu Yun arrived at the entrance, the courtyard door swung open automatically. Upon entering the courtyard, Yi Xingchen, stroking his white beard, looked at Lu Yun approvingly. Lu Yun, I see you're full of vigorous vital energy and has a strong sense of pure yang dominance. Have you cultivated pure yang aura? The dean has a keen eye. Indeed, one have cultivated the martial arts of the pure yang aura, Lu Yun said, bowing his fist in affirmation. Yi Xingchen waved, smiled, and said, Don't be so formal around me, especially you young folks. You should be bursting with vitality, showing off your mettle. Don't always be so reserved. At his words, Lu Yun inwardly grimaced. If he fully showed his mettle, he'd likely not live past a month. Your advice is well taken, Dean. It's just in my nature. I don't like being flashy and attracting undue attention. Yi Xingchen slightly shook his head. You first cultivated pure yang aura, then the golden sun refining technique to refine the aura. Being a bit more assertive will help with the cultivation of later martial arts techniques. At these words, Lu Yun looked surprised. Could being too low-key actually impede cultivation progress? I previously promised that if you could pass the 10th level of Myriad Phenomena Tower within half a year, you would receive a superior true artifact and be promoted to a disciple of the Star Palace. Yi Xingchen no longer dwelled on the previous topic. Instead, squinting at Lu Yun, he smiled and said, You've done well, exceeding my expectations. I'll keep my promise. Now, what type of superior true artifact do you wish to acquire? Regarding this, Lu Yun had long decided and without hesitation said, "I practice the saber technique and have quite a bit of strength, so I want a heavy broadsword." The tiger-head broadsaber he had obtained from defeating bandits in the past was not bad. However, as Lu Yun's strength increased, the sword gradually fell short, and he dared not fully imbue it with aura in fear of accidentally destroying it. Now having the chance to acquire a superior true artifact, Lu Yun naturally chose a hefty broadsword. Seeing Lu's choice, Yi Xingchen seemed not surprised and nodded slightly. With a wave of his big hand, a flash of light flickered in front of him, and Lu Yun saw a black broadsword hovering in front of him. The sword was entirely black, giving an impression of heaviness. The hilt was a foot long, engraved with white scale-like patterns, appearing comfortable to hold. The 3-feet-long blade was incredibly sharp. Leaves falling from the tree and touching the blade were instantly sliced in half. This blade is known as the white scale purple gold knife. The blade is 4.5 feet long and weighs 1,080 pounds. With that, the white scale purple gold knife automatically flew towards Lu Yun. White scale purple gold knife. A gleam flashed in Lu Yun's eyes. He grabbed the hilt and immediately felt a sense of heaviness. However, Lu Yun's strength had long surpassed 10,000 pounds. A mere 1,080 pounds were hardly an issue for him. After gripping the hilt, Lu Yun couldn't resist swinging the blade a couple of times. Immediately, the air was filled with sword aura and the howling of gusty winds. Great blade, great blade! Chapter 97, Chapter 97, Chapter 97, Promotion to Star Palace Disciple. Chapter 97, Chapter 97, Promotion to Star Palace Disciple after obtaining the superior true artifact, the white scale purple gold knife. Qin Tianyan took care of the matters concerning Lu Yun's promotion to a Star Palace Disciple. Passing through an area filled with pavilions and halls, they arrived in front of a towering and magnificent building. Qin Tianyan introduced, "This building is called the Star Tower. It has 9 floors, and each floor has dedicated cultivation rooms. On the 9th floor, there are 9 cultivation rooms. On the 8th floor, there are 20 cultivation rooms. On the 7th floor, there are 30 cultivation rooms. On the 1st floor, there are 90 cultivation rooms, for a total of 450 cultivation rooms." Glancing at Lu Yun, whose expression remained unchanged, Qin Tianyan added, "Don't underestimate the Star Tower. There is a special spirit gathering array set up inside. The higher you go, the higher the concentration of spiritual energy. Spirit gathering array? B0XO. Lu Yun had read about this in a book from the book collection Pavilion. The spirit gathering array was a product of the sect era, its function being to gather the heavenly and earthly spiritual chi from the surrounding area. It can be used for operating other arrays, or for the daily cultivation of martial artists. Spirit gathering arrays are divided into low, intermediate, and high levels. To accommodate such a large building with just a low-level spirit gathering array, the resources consumed would be no fewer than those consumed by an intermediate-level spirit gathering array. The higher the realm of a martial artist, the greater the demand for heavenly and earthly spiritual chi. Whether it is for improving one's cultivation or recovering true chi or true origin, all require heavenly and earthly spiritual chi. Even when Lu Yun uses energy points to break through realms, he still needs to absorb the surrounding heavenly and earthly spiritual chi. Similarly, when refining true chi in the true chi realm, one also needs to absorb heavenly and earthly spiritual chi for replenishment and recovery. Therefore, a place with a rich concentration of heavenly and earthly spiritual chi is undoubtedly essential for martial artists. Thinking of the function of the spirit gathering array, Lu Yun couldn't help but feel admiration for the martial academy that set up such an array for the Star Palace disciples to cultivate in. With this in mind, Lu Yun became quite interested in the Star Tower, asking, "Elder Chen, what is the ratio of spiritual energy concentration between each floor of the Star Tower and the outside world?" Chun Tianyun didn't conceal anything, as it was his duty to explain. He said, "The first floor of the Star Tower has relatively thin spiritual energy, but it is still twice as dense as the outside world. The second floor is 3 times. As for the 9th floor, the concentration of spiritual energy is 10 times that of the outside world." Hearing this, Lu Yun's eyes turned fiery. This was definitely not a low-level spirit gathering array, as a low-level array could only increase the concentration of spiritual energy by 3 times. Meanwhile, the concentration of spiritual energy on the 9th floor of the Star Tower was 10 times that of the outside world, an effect that could only be achieved by an intermediate-level spirit gathering array. That is to say, the Star Tower has more than one spirit gathering array, at least 2, both low-level and intermediate-level spirit gathering arrays. Thinking of this, Lu Yun couldn't help but feel admiration for the methods of the Martial Academy in his heart. May first ask, "Elder, with so many cultivation rooms in the Star Tower, I assume that every Star Palace disciple has a cultivation room." Chun Tianyun couldn't help but glance at Lu Yun, surprised. "Do you know how many disciples there are in the Star Palace?" Lu Yun shook his head. "Including you, there are a total of 3,358. Lu Yun furrowed his brow. According to his understanding, within the Martial Academy, there were at most 5,000 or 6,000 elite disciples. As for the higher-ranking Star Palace disciples, there would likely only be a few hundred. After all, he knew how difficult the 10th floor of the Myriad Phenomena Tower was, and most of the elite disciples were unable to pass it. Now, Chun Tianyun was telling him that there were more than 3,000 Star Palace disciples. Chun Tianyun seemed to have guessed Lu Yun's thoughts and laughed. "You must be wondering why there are so many Star Palace disciples, almost catching up with the number of elite disciples, right?" Lu Yun nodded, not expressing an opinion. "Haha, don't you remember? As long as you pass the 10th level of the Myriad Phenomena Tower, you don't have to leave the Martial Academy unless you voluntarily leave, are over 35, or encounter other unpredictable situations." Upon hearing this, Lu Yun finally came to his senses. The Martial Academy recruits at least 1,000 new disciples each year. So after decades of accumulation, there are naturally many Star Palace disciples. Moreover, when compared to the massive population of Spirit Martial Prefecture, the 3,000-plus Star Palace disciples seem very few. "Kid, work hard. I believe you will soon be able to snatch a cultivation room in the Star Tower." Chun Tianyun patted Lu Yun's shoulder and continued showing him around the Star Palace area. Star Tower is just the first privilege possessed by the Star Palace disciples. The Star Palace disciples are considered the core of the Martial Academy and are worth nurturing with resources. Therefore, in addition to the spiritually rich cultivation land of Star Tower, there are other special cultivation areas such as the Heart Inquiry Pavilion and the 1,000 Illusion Hall, standing in front of an imposing, seemingly white jade-built pavilion. Chun Tianyun said, "This is the Heart Inquiry Pavilion. It actually has some similarities to the Myriad Phenomena Tower, but because of some limitations in the tower, not all Star Palace disciples can reach the higher levels. So the Heart Inquiry Pavilion was created specifically to hone willpower and martial arts ambition. 100 contribution points can allow you to spend 2 hours inside. In that case, the Heart Inquiry Pavilion is useless to me." Lu Yun thought privately. Given that the Heart Inquiry Pavilion and the Myriad Phenomena Tower serve similar purposes, he naturally prefers the Myriad Phenomena Tower, which doesn't require payment, and can even gain contribution points through it. Next, Chun Tianyun took Lu Yun to the 1,000 Illusion Hall. The 1,000 Illusion Hall is mysterious, capable of creating illusions, and using other spiritual materials to simulate corresponding illusory realms, specifically to help the Star Palace disciples comprehend their martial arts realms. For example, disciples who practice swordsmanship can enter an illusory realm about swordsmanship to comprehend sword intent. Other disciples will enter corresponding illusory realms based on their individual true chi or true origin attributes to comprehend their martial arts realms. Lu Yun's slaughter conception could be improved in the Thousand Illusion Hall by simulating a large-scale war scenario where killing and honing skills would contribute to its elevation. If he wanted to comprehend other martial arts realms, such as cold ice intent, water conception, or fire intent, he could enter the corresponding illusory realms to do so. Unfortunately, even with the special training grounds like the Thousand Illusion Hall, very few Star Palace disciples could comprehend martial arts realms at the true Chi realm stage. Most of them would only succeed in the transforming origin realm or even the origin fluid realm. The reason Lu Yun managed to comprehend slaughter conception was because the panel helped him take the 7-kill saber technique to an unprecedented realm, and he utilized a large amount of energy value to achieve success. If he were to rely solely on himself, it might take him a long time to get even a glimpse of the path. However, if one cultivate the Gale Thunder Flash step, can one comprehend Thunderbolt intent or Wind intent by relying on it? Lu Yun contemplated this, suddenly looking forward to the Thousand Illusion Hall. Chun Tianyun unconsciously revealed a smile, satisfied with Lu Yun's expression of anticipation. After entering the Star Palace, you can freely access the Martial Academy without having to complete missions. However, you must remember to make the most of your youth, develop your talents as much as possible, and build a solid foundation. This will be beneficial for you to reach higher martial arts realms in the future. Otherwise, you will regret it. There was no need for Qin Tianyun to tell him this, as Lu Yun was well aware of the pros and cons involved. Immediately afterwards, Chun Tianyun officially guided Lu Yun through the process of promoting him to a Star Palace disciple. The process was simple, involving only registration, updating of records, and the replacement of his identification token. The Star Palace disciple's identification token is more advanced, completely purple in color. In addition to serving as identification proof and for completing missions, it also functions as a certificate to access certain special training grounds. Apart from that, Lu Yun received 2-star robes, which were the garments worn by the Star Palace disciples. Both robes had the same style and design, one in purple-black and the other in pure white, with star patterns on their sleeves. Chapter 98, Chapter 98, Chapter 98, The Blooming Blood Lotus. Chapter 98, Chapter 98, The Blooming Blood Lotus. The treatment for the Star Palace disciples naturally was not just limited to that. As long as one was promoted to a Star Palace disciple, fixed resources were given out every month. The distribution of these resources was based on the Myriad Phenomena Tower's achievements. Among them, Star Palace disciples who passed the 10th layer of the Myriad Phenomena Tower would be given 1 spirit crystal every month. Spirit crystals were cultivation resources for martial artists, and at the same time, the main medium for exchange among martial artists. B0XO. Kamba spirit crystals contained an abundance of spiritual energy, and 1 spirit crystal was enough to maintain the cultivation of an early-stage true Qi realm martial artist for about 10 to 15 days. This especially showed the preciousness of spirit crystals. After tucking away his star robe, identity token, and spirit crystals, Lu Yun followed a steward towards the buildings that looked like a ring of stars. There were many of these buildings, each with 2 floors, standing tall on several peaks like a sky full of stars. This was the residence of the Star Palace disciples, the Star Peak. Soon, under the guidance of the steward, Lu Yun arrived at the waist of a mountain peak, which was the location of his residence. A single building with 2 floors, a small courtyard, A beautiful environment, quiet, and occasionally birdsong could be heard. This is building number 3358, and from now on, it is yours. You are responsible for cleaning and maintaining it. After giving the instruction, the steward turned and left. Lu Yun didn't enter the building right away, but surveyed the surroundings first and found that the distance between each building was quite far, about 20 meters apart. This is good, so as long as the cultivation noise is not too big, it won't affect each other. Muttering to himself, Lu Yun pushed open the courtyard door and entered. Everything was new, brand new, to the point where Lu Yun wondered if anyone had ever lived here before. He opened each room one by one, and indeed, the furniture and equipment inside were all brand new and had never been used by anyone. What surprised him was that it even had separate bathrooms and a kitchen. It was normal to have a bathroom, but why was there a kitchen? Were they supposed to cook for themselves and live comfortably? Lu Yun glanced at the kitchen utensils, which were all new and unused, undoubtedly confirming his inner guess. Well, when I'm hungry, I can just go to a restaurant in the county capital to solve it. Lu Yun casually closed the kitchen, came to the bedroom. Both the bed sheets and quilts were new, neatly folded and placed on the bed. There were some other decorations in the room, but all were simple. Lu Yun didn't care. He went into the cultivation room. Compared to the other rooms, the cultivation room was even simpler, with only one white futon. After casually roaming around, Lu Yun finally understood the layout of the entire building. Bedrooms, cultivation room, guest rooms, and the like were on the second floor, while the kitchen, bathroom, and utility room were on the first floor. Besides that, the courtyard was quite spacious, almost half the size of a football field, suitable for him to practice saber techniques freely. However, since no one had ever lived here before, Lu Yun had to do a big cleanup right away. It took almost 4 hours for Lu Yun to clean up all the rooms in the building and the courtyard. By the time he finished, it had already gotten dark. Lu Yun took a bath, changed into a purple star robe, and went directly to the cultivation room. Name: Lu Yun Force. Flying Spirit Martial Academy Martial Arts. Breaking Wind Saber Technique. Perfection. Not upgradable. 7-kill Saber Technique. Reach Profound. Not upgradable. Black Tiger Saber Technique. Perfection. Not upgradable. Gale Thunder Flash Step. 70% Great Accomplishment. Pure Yang Martial Arts Canon. True Chi Chapter. 1% Entry Level. Innate Talent. Level 6 Martial Arts. Early Stage True Chi Realm. 1 Refinement. Energy Value. 1211. 1 increase every 2 days. Conception. Slaughter Conception. First rank 10%. These past few months, he had been immersed in the book collection pavilion and had not cultivated, except for the slight improvement in slaughter conception. The progress of other martial arts remained the same. However, the energy value had increased somewhat. The current panel showed that even without refining any pills, Lu Yun would still receive energy value credits, 1 every 2 days. As he advanced in aptitude or realm in the future, the speed at which energy values accumulated would continue to increase. Perhaps one day, Lu Yun would have an inexhaustible supply of energy without doing anything. Thinking of this, Lu Yun's heart couldn't help but flutter. However, as the level of martial arts progresses, the energy value required will increase. Will that day really come? Discarding the distractions in his mind, Lu Yun sits cross-legged on a white cushion, starting to concentrate. Martial arts conception is closely related to spiritual power, which lies within the sea of consciousness. Lu Yun focuses his attention, letting his consciousness sink into the sea of consciousness. Before long, a gray space comes into his field of vision. The gray space seems empty, vast, and borderless. In the center of his field of vision, gray mist fades, and a blood-colored ray of light appears. Lu Yun concentrates all his attention, making his field of vision clearer and moving closer to the blood-colored light. Soon, he sees the full view of the blood-colored light. Within the bloody light, a blood-colored lotus platform is born, surrounded by blood-colored light, which is particularly eye-catching in the gray space. As Lu Yun's field of vision approaches the blood-colored lotus platform, a terrible aura of slaughter rushes towards him, as if it's a battlefield of thousands of soldiers and horses, with the sound of weapons clashing, neighs of horses galloping, and roars of countless souls, everything making it hard not to shudder. Soon, the blood-colored lotus platform erupts with a surge of blood-colored light, quickly absorbing the surrounding gray mist. Lu Yun notices that the blood-colored lotus platform is constantly trembling, as if it's starting to bloom. Not knowing how much time has passed, the lotus flower blooms. However, there is only one petal on the lotus platform. The moment the blood lotus petal blooms, an overwhelming aura of slaughter bursts forth, causing the gray space to shake, with numerous auras whistling towards it. This gray space is the spiritual world of a martial artist, which is the sea of consciousness. Lu Yun has learned about this from the books in the book collection pavilion. Before this, he knew nothing about the sea of consciousness. However, after spending several months in the book collection pavilion, he has learned a lot of martial arts common sense, including the sea of consciousness. Every martial artist has a sea of consciousness, but not every martial artist can open and enter the sea of consciousness space. Only after comprehending a martial arts conception can the sea of consciousness space be opened. The blood-colored lotus platform is the condensation of slaughter conception. When a petal blooms, it represents that the slaughter conception has reached the first rank. When the slaughter conception reaches the 10th rank, which is complete perfection, the blood lotus will fully bloom, with all 10 petals completely formed. At that time, the true meaning can be manifested. His field of vision is completely focused on the blood lotus. Within an instant, the scene before him suddenly changes, and he finds himself in a blood-colored world, seemingly covered by blood. The ground is in disarray, filled with the aura of destruction, slaughter, and violence lingering constantly. The sky is a deep shade of red, as if it is completely enveloped by the blood light. Lu Yun finds himself transformed into a blood-colored lotus platform, situated above this blood-colored sky, constantly absorbing the auras of destruction, slaughter, and frenzy, and growing stronger. One day, half a year, 10 years, time continues to flow, and the growth of the blood-colored lotus platform appears to be slow, with only one petal blooming. Many years later, in this chaotic land, blood-colored iron hooves suddenly gallop by. Blood-colored horses, blood-colored armor, the blood-colored world. Two groups of people and horses engage in fierce combat, with the sound of fighting shaking the heavens and deep red blood splattering across the earth. The already blood-red sky and earth become even heavier, with swirling auras of destruction, slaughter, and frenzy growing thicker. And the blood-colored lotus platform, rooted above the sky, blooms its second and third petals. After a long time has passed, the blood-colored earth, with blood-colored galloping horses and towering, powerful demon beasts, appear. In this terrifying aura of destruction and slaughter, both sides go completely insane, ceaselessly fighting, with no respite or reason, eventually being engulfed by the blood-red aura. The blood-colored lotus platform in the sky blooms another blood-colored lotus flower. As more petals bloom, the atmosphere of slaughter in this world becomes even more intense and horrifying. From time to time, different creatures enter, constantly fighting each other, and ultimately turn into nourishment for the blooming and flourishing blood-colored lotus platform. Chapter 99. Chapter 99. Chapter 99. Triple Refinement of Aggressive Aura. Chapter 99. Chapter 99. triple refinement of aggressive aura. Eventually, due to a sharp pain in his mind, Lu Yun withdrew from the blood-colored world. At this point, in the sea of consciousness space, there was still only one petal blooming on the blood-colored lotus platform, emitting a blood-red glow. In the cultivation room, Lu Yun was sitting cross-legged on a white cushion, and his tightly closed eyes suddenly opened, a flash of blood-red light passing by. Then, a slight pain came from his mind. It took about half a cup of tea's time for the pain to lessen significantly. B0XO. Calm. This pain is clearly caused by excessive mental exhaustion. Could it be that entering the sea of consciousness consumes spiritual power? Or is it the entrance into the blood-colored world that causes the rapid depletion of spiritual power? For a moment, Lu Yun couldn't figure it out. As his spiritual power hadn't recovered yet, he felt quite weak, and even just thinking a little caused a faint lingering pain to resurface. Not daring to contemplate his previous experiences any further, he could only temporarily stop his cultivation and return to his room to rest. He slept very deeply, not waking until noon the next day. Sitting on the bed, Lu Yun closed his eyes and recalled the events of the previous day. The blooming blood-colored lotus platform in the sea of consciousness space, as well as the blood-colored world where he transformed into a blood-colored lotus platform, used all beings as nourishment. He glanced at the progress of the slaughter conception on the panel, which remained at first ranked 10%. If the slaughter conception hasn't improved, then what was all that one saw in the blood-colored world about? Thinking back on it all, Lu Yun was still shocked by the blood-colored world filled with killing, destruction, and an oppressive atmosphere. Moreover, the spiritual power I consumed before was likely because I saw that blood-colored world. Lu Yun's brows furrowed slightly. The blood-colored lotus platform continuously absorbed the killing, destruction, and violent auras, and then the petals bloomed one by one. This signified that the advancement of the slaughter conception required constant killing, using life and blood as nourishment. This kind of advancement was obviously different from other martial arts conceptions. Generally, martial arts conceptions required constant comprehension to improve. Yet, the slaughter conception required continuous killing. There was no superiority or inferiority between the two ways of advancement. However, in this case, Lu Yun couldn't temporarily improve his slaughter conception unless he used energy value. Only the current slaughter conception required the consumption of 50 energy value for each increase in the cultivation progress. This method of advancement was too extravagant for Lu Yun to dare or be willing to do so. Comparatively, Lu Yun was more inclined to improve his martial arts. Wait until there are enough energy value, and then use them to enhance the slaughter conception. For now, prioritize improving the pure Yang martial arts canon. The pure Yang martial arts canon had already been stagnating at the entry-level 1% in the True Qi chapter for a long time, so it was time to improve it. After casually washing, Lu Yun went to the cultivation room and sat cross-legged on a white cushion. Bringing out the panel, Lu Yun's thoughts moved, and he directly consumed 50 energy value. Consume 50 energy value. Pure Yang martial arts canon True Qi chapter raised to entry level 11%. It seemed like this was still not the limit of what his body could handle, so Lu Yun directly consumed 70 energy value at once. Consume 70 energy value. Pure Yang martial arts canon True Qi chapter raised to entry level 25%, still not at the limit. Consume 100 energy value. Pure Yang martial arts canon True Qi chapter raised to entry level 45%. At this moment, Lu Yun felt a sharp pain coming from his body. At the same time, the pure Yang aura in his dantian was constantly compressed and refined. In his mind, A figure was continuously refining the pure yang aura in the dantian within a cultivation room filled with very dense spiritual energy. Every moment, Lu Yun could feel the improvement of the pure yang martial arts canon True Chi chapter, as well as the enhancement of the quality and power of the pure yang aura in his dantian. Consume 100 energy value, pure yang martial arts canon True Chi chapter raised to. After consuming 500 energy value, the pure yang martial arts canon was finally raised to small achievement. Name: Lu Yun Influence, Flying Spirit Martial Academy, Martial Arts, Breaking Wind Saber Technique, Perfection, Unimprovable 7-Kill Saber Technique, Reach Profound, Unimprovable Black Tiger Saber Technique, Perfection, Unimprovable Gale Thunder Flash Step, Great Achievement, 70%. Pure Yang Martial Arts Canon, True Chi Chapter, Small Achievement, 1%. Innate Talent, Level 6 Martial Arts, True Chi Realm, 3 Refinements, Energy Value, 711, increases by 1 every 2 days, Conception, Slaughter Conception, first rank 10%. Few, finally upgraded to the small achievement level. Lu Yun's whole body was soaked in sweat. Even though his physical strength was barely comparable to a true artifact, consuming 100 energy points at once still exceeded his limit. Fortunately, there weren't many repetitions, otherwise he might not be able to withstand it, and would have become weak on the spot. After resting for a while, and his body and spirit had recovered, Lu Yun's consciousness sank into his dantian. Now, the pure yang aura in his dantian had undergone 3 refinements. Every strand of pure yang aura was extremely condensed, as if it was very heavy, desperately pressuring the bottom of his dantian. At the same time, due to the 3 refinements, the domineering yang attribute of the pure yang aura became even more intense. The pure yang aura coursing through his meridians was like molten lava, surging and exuding a scorching heat. Withdrawing his consciousness, his eyes, like stars, suddenly opened, and a sun-like brilliance flashed and disappeared. He stretched out his right hand, spreading his fingers slightly. Pure yang aura condensed in his hand, like a miniature sun, emitting a scorching and domineering presence. The temperature in the cultivation room rapidly increased, and the surrounding air sizzled and roared. With only 3 refinements complete, the pure yang aura is already so terrifying. If I complete the final refinement, one wouldn't be far from reaching true pure yang. He put the pure yang aura back in his hand. Lu Yun took out 2 martial arts scrolls from his sumi bag. Both were superior martial arts. One was the Gentle Breeze Waning Moonblade, and the other was Eastern Windbreak. These 2 saber technique martial arts cost Lu Yun 2,250 contribution points. Now, only 50 contribution points were left on his token. It could be said that all he had left now was his overwhelming strength. Within 2 hours, both martial arts were completely imprinted in his mind. With anticipation and excitement, he nervously opened the panel. I hope I won't be too disappointed. His gaze fell directly onto the martial arts column on the panel. Martial arts, breaking wind saber technique, perfection, unable to upgrade. 7-kill saber technique, reach profound, unable to upgrade. Black tiger saber technique, perfection, unable to upgrade. Gentle breeze waning moonblade pre-entry, eastern windbreak, pre-entry, gale thunder flash step, great accomplishment 70%. Pure yang martial arts canon, True Chi chapter, small achievement 1%. There's no text indicating that they can be merged. Lu Yun instantly felt a wave of frustration and a sense of defeat. In his opinion, as long as the saber techniques shared the same attribute, they could be merged, so he exchanged 2 wind attribute saber techniques without hesitation. But the result was not as he expected. Well, anyway, one do indeed have superior martial arts level saber techniques now, so let's just upgrade them to the small achievement level. Frustration came quickly, and left just as fast. Lu Yun collected his emotions and began to upgrade the Gentle Breeze Waning Moonblade. Consuming 40 energy points, Gentle Breeze Waning Moonblade upgraded to entry level 1%. At the same time, an image of practicing the saber technique appeared in his mind. 1 day, 2 days, half a month later, the Gentle Breeze Waning Moonblade finally reached entry level. It was at this time that Lu Yun's eyes suddenly lit up. He saw a change on the panel as merger panels appeared behind both the Breaking Wind Saber technique and the Gentle Breeze Waning Moonblade. Seeing this, Lu Yun excitedly slapped his thigh. He had just lost hope and didn't hold any expectations for merging. But unexpectedly, there was light at the end of the tunnel. Chapter 100, Chapter 100, Chapter 2, The Abnormality of Duanqing. Chapter 100, Chapter 2, The Abnormality of Duanqing. I should have thought of this earlier. Without the Gentle Breeze Waning Moonblade at the entry level, the fusion panel won't indicate whether it can be fused. When he first discovered the fusion panel, it was because he had cultivated the Golden Sun refining technique to the entry level and advanced to the true Qi realm. So he wasn't sure whether the emergence of the fusion panel was due to the entry-level achievement of the Golden Sun refining technique or the breakthrough of the realm. Now, it seems that it's because both of these things happened together. Thinking of this, Lu Yun spent another 40 energy points to upgrade Eastern Windbreak to the entry level, B0XO. Calm as expected, a fusion panel appeared behind Eastern Windbreak as well. Lu Yun's previous speculation was correct. Even if it was a martial art in the form of a saber technique, fusion could be achieved if the attributes were the same. Upon opening the fusion panel on any of Breaking Wind Saber technique, Gentle Breeze Waning Moonblade, and Eastern Windbreak, information about fusion with any other 2 martial arts would appear. However, the energy value required for fusion between them is different. This is normal. Although the attributes of the 3 martial arts are the same, there are differences between them. Among them, the gap between Breaking Wind Saber technique, Gentle Breeze Waning Moonblade, and Eastern Windbreak is significant. Plus, with the lower level, the energy value needed for fusion with the other 2 martial arts is also lower. Lu Yun opened the fusion panel on the Breaking Wind Saber technique, and a line of information appeared on it. Discovered that Breaking Wind Saber technique can fuse with Gentle Breeze Waning Moonblade, consuming 650 energy points. Discovered that Breaking Wind Saber technique can fuse with Eastern Windbreak, consuming 680 contribution points. Lu Yun shook his head with a bitter smile. He only had 631 energy points left, nowhere close to the amount needed for fusion. As for the fusion panels of Gentle Breeze Waning Moonblade, and Eastern Windbreak, Lu Yun didn't even dare to look at them, because he simply didn't have enough energy points. I'm broke again. It seems like I need to prioritize becoming an alchemist. Lu Yun helplessly got up, left the cultivation room, and lay down to sunbathe on a wooden chair on the 2nd floor balcony. Becoming an alchemist isn't that simple. It's not something that can be done in one go, and careful planning is needed. First, a pill recipe is needed, and then spirit herbs need to be collected according to the pill recipe. Neither pill recipes nor spirit herbs are easy to obtain. In fact, even the most basic furnace Lu Yun couldn't get now, which was like a skilled woman without rice to cook. The path of the alchemist is long and arduous, and one must take my time. Lu Yun lay on the chair, sighed helplessly, and closed his eyes to rest. At some unknown time, the sun had set, and a gentle breeze blew intermittently. A yellowing leaf withered and fell, fluttering in the autumn wind, finally landing on a light blue sword hilt. Looks like my guess was right. The owner of this little building really is you. Lu Yun lazily opened his eyes and saw a young man who had suddenly appeared before him. With sword-like eyebrows and sharp eyes, he wore a pure white star robe, which further highlighted his otherworldly and peerless temperament. This young man was Xiao Chun. After several months, he had grown much taller, and there was a bit more firmness and maturity on his face, more and more resembling the style and demeanor of a heavenly pride in swordsmanship. Lu Yun stood up, glanced at the other party indifferently, and said unhappily, "Why don't you just announce yourself before coming to my place? If it were someone else, they'd be in for a rough time." Xiao Chun ignored Lu Yun's words and simply said, "I've taken another mission. It's a two-person mission. Are you interested?" Lu Yun was definitely interested. Without even thinking, he asked, "What mission? Are the contribution points high?" As if expecting this outcome, Xiao Chen's face remained calm and said lightly, "A new disciple recruitment assessment mission with a minimum of 3,000 contribution points. Recruiting a level 5 common innate talent will grant an additional 300 contribution points. A level 5 top innate talent will grant an additional 500 contribution points. A level 6 innate talent will grant an additional 1,000 contribution points. A mission for assessing new disciples." Lu Yun looked skeptical. This type of task seemed easy, not time-consuming, and easy to complete, but the requirements for strength were very strict. There were two reasons for this. First, once one accepted this task, they were representing the Martial Academy as the examiner for recruiting new disciples as a symbol and representative of the academy. If their strength was too weak, it would affect the reputation of the academy. Second, the examiner was responsible for maintaining the order during the examination process and protecting the safety of new disciples. Without strong strength, it would be difficult to prevent accidents from happening. Last year, the strengths of Lin Chun and Meng Hongfei, who were responsible for recruiting and examining students in Cloudwater County, were very strong. One was in the transforming origin realm, and the other was in the true Qi realm, capable of defeating opponents in the transforming origin realm. This especially showed the importance that the Martial Academy attached to the recruitment and examination of new disciples. Ignoring Lu Yun's doubts, Xiao Chun pretended not to see them, acting as if he was too lazy to speak unless asked, and even then only answering depending on his mood. Even though he was a little puzzled, Lu Yun didn't linger over the matter. As such a great opportunity fell into his lap, it was only natural that he wouldn't have any reason to refuse. As for his strength, he didn't think he was weak at all. Where and when to depart? Seeing that Lu Yun was so straightforward, Xiao Chen's unchangingly calm face finally revealed a slight smile, like the warmth of the winter sun, a blend of warmth and coldness. "It'll come for you tomorrow morning." With that said, Xiao Chun leaped away, his figure disappearing from Lu Yun's sight. Lu Yun stretched out 2 fingers to rub his temples, his thoughts lightened significantly. He glanced at the half-reddened sky where the sun was setting and murmured softly, "The sky isn't too late, let's go for a walk." Soon, he arrived at the Internal Affairs Hall, specifically at the area dealing with disciple promotions. "What can one do for you?" One of the black-robed stewards looked at the young Lu Yun dressed in a purple-black star robe, his face bearing a hint of benevolence. Lu Yun didn't find it strange. "Steward, can you help me check if there has been a new Star Palace disciple named Duan Qing among those who have joined in the past 6 months?" He had a good impression of Duan Qing, who had been in the Martial Academy for many years and had more connections. This time, he wanted to ask for Duan Qing's help to deal with the Sumi bag and spirit crystals that he had on hand, and inquire about other matters while he was at it. However, he wasn't sure if Duan Qing had become a Star Palace disciple. Small matter, very easy. The steward turned around, took a roster from a nearby file bag, and flipped through it. After a brief pondering, he said, "I have looked through all the disciples who have been promoted to the Star Palace in the past year, but I cannot find the name Duan Qing." "Oh, all right. Thank you, steward." Lu Yun thanked the steward and turned to leave. He had thought that Duan Qing had already become a disciple of the Star Palace and had come here to find out Duan Qing's whereabouts, but he didn't expect to receive this result. When the sun had completely set, Lu Yun appeared at the residence of the elite disciples, where Duan Qing's original residence was. He knocked lightly on the courtyard door, but there was no response. "Is nobody there?" Lu Yun's eyebrows furrowed. He increased his strength and knocked a few more times, but there was still no sound coming from inside. "Forget it. Let's find someone else to deal with." As Lu Yun turned to leave, he suddenly saw a figure approaching quickly from a distance. His vision was very good, and even though they were quite far apart, he could see the person's face clearly. The face looked like it was stuffed with two big buns, eyes squeezed into slits, a small nose that looked like a ditch, and a round, plump body that resembled a meatball from a distance. This person was indeed Duan Qing. However, compared to when they first met, there seemed to be some changes in Duan Qing at this time. There was a faint trace of worry on his brow, and his expression was somewhat languid. His mind didn't seem very focused, to the point that he didn't notice Lu Yun as he approached his own residence. Chapter 101, Chapter 101, Chapter 101, First Encounter with the Alchemist Alliance. Chapter 101, Chapter 101, First Encounter with the Alchemist Alliance. Cough, cough. Seeing Duan Qing about to crash into him head-on, Lu Yun coughed. Duan Qing shuddered and came to his senses. Seeing that it was Lu Yun, he reined in his sorrow and a smile appeared on his chubby face. Sorry, I didn't notice it was you, junior brother Lu." Immediately, he welcomed Lu Yun into the room. B0XO, calm after placing a plate of fruits and a pot of tea on the table and pouring a cup for each of them. He finally sat down. "Senior brother Duan, I saw you were distracted just now. What's going on?" Lu Yun asked softly, setting his teacup aside. "Oh, that's a long story." Duan Qing let out a long sigh. After slowly taking a sip of his tea and sighing again, he seemed to have trouble speaking. To this, Lu Yun could only change the subject. "Senior brother Duan, I remember it's been almost a year since you passed the 9th floor of the Myriad Phenomena Tower, right?" At the mention of this, Duan Qing picked up his teacup and took a deep sip, the sadness in his brow deepening. After a long silence, he reluctantly said, "It's been almost 10 months. I thought that after settling down for a while, I would be able to pass the 10th floor of the Myriad Phenomena Tower and be promoted to a disciple of the Star Palace. But I didn't expect the 10th floor of the Myriad Phenomena Tower to be so difficult. Even after refining my true qi 3 times, I still couldn't pass." Upon finishing, Duan Qing silently lowered his head, seemingly too embarrassed to look at Lu Yun. When Lu Yun joined the Martial Academy, Duan Qing had already passed the 9th floor of the Myriad Phenomena Tower. Now, Lu Yun had become a Star Palace disciple while he was still stuck in the same place. Lu Yun took a sip of his tea and said, "Surely that alone wouldn't make you so distraught and lose yourself like this, senior brother." "Ha! Junior brother Lu is indeed smart. Failing the 10th floor of the Myriad Phenomena Tower indeed can't affect me that much." As he said this, Duan Qing no longer hid anything and recounted the full story to Lu Yun. Duan Qing was a side branch disciple of an aristocratic family in Spirit Martial Prefecture, and he was also considered a genius. At just 19 years old, he had advanced to the true Qi realm. If only he could become a disciple of the Martial Academy's Star Palace before 20, he would receive the support of his family to help him continue to climb the martial arts ladder. Whether or not he could obtain the support of his family wasn't important. What mattered was that, from then on, the side branch he belonged to would gain the family's attention and be allocated more resources. Unfortunately, he was always stuck at the 10th floor and couldn't be promoted to the Star Palace disciple position. "Oh, Ever since it was discovered that I have a level 4 innate talent, my family elders have been pouring almost all resources into me, just hoping that I could lead our side branch to rise. Now, time is running out. Duan Qing bitterly laughed at his own powerlessness. He was completely different from his usual lascivious demeanor. He now bore more responsibility and helplessness. Senior brother, don't be like this. A family's rise and fall is predetermined. You can't force it. Just concentrate on cultivating and progressing, and don't let external affairs affect your mindset. Knowing the ins and outs of the situation, Lu Yun said nonchalantly, I know this principle too. I just want to make a living by cultivating in the martial academy, but things aren't always so easy. Forget it. Talking about these things will only increase our troubles. After finishing his cup of tea, Duan Qing asked Lu Yun, Junior brother Lu, you came here so late. Is there anything you need my help with? Lu Yun nodded, and without further ado, took a sumi bag from his chest and handed it to Duan Qing. Duan Qing took the sumi bag and asked, Junior brother Lu, what is this? I want to dispose of this sumi bag and everything inside. Senior brother Duan, you've been in the martial academy for so long and you're also from an aristocratic family. You must know how to do this. Okay, let me first see what's inside. Duan Qing opened the sumi bag and took out the contents one by one. It turned out to be a tiger head broadsaber, a rushing thunder sword technique manual, and a spirit crystal. How many contribution points can I get if one exchange all of them? Lu Yun asked. One spirit crystal can usually be exchanged for 100 contribution points. As for the others, let me take a look for a while. Duan Qing shook his head slightly, his gaze repeatedly examining the rushing thunder sword technique. Lu Yun nodded and took his time drinking tea, sitting on a chair nearby since he was not in a hurry. After a while, Duan Qing picked up the tiger head broadsaber to examine it. Although this tiger head broadsaber is not a true artifact, it's definitely top-notch among ordinary weapons. It should be worth 70 or 80 contribution points. After putting down the tiger head broadsaber, Duan Qing picked up the rushing thunder sword technique again. He opened it and looked at it for a dozen breaths of time before closing it, and said solemnly to Lu Yun, Junior brother Lu, it's okay for me to trade for this martial arts book. I am willing to offer 15 spirit crystals. This Lu Yun hesitated. It wasn't because he thought 15 spirit crystals were not enough. The rushing thunder sword technique was just a first-rate martial arts book, and Duan Qing's offer of 15 spirit crystals was considered fair value. However, he did not need spirit crystals at the moment, and what he wanted was contribution points. If he wasn't in a rush to go out, he wouldn't care about the spirit crystals, as he could travel to the county capital and buy what he needed there. If junior brother Lu needs contribution points, we can also exchange using contribution points. I happen to have some contribution points on me. Duan Qing added, Sure, no problem. Lu Yun readily agreed. A sumi bag is worth 300 contribution points in the weapon tower, but in a private trade, it's at most worth 250 contribution points. After that, Duan Qing put the tiger head broadsaber and spirit crystals back into the sumi bag, and the rushing thunder sword technique was kept in his arms. Junior brother Lu, he'll take the rushing thunder sword technique first, and he'll transfer 1,500 contribution points to you. As for the rest, it may take some time before they can be traded. That's fine. Soon after, Duan Qing directly transferred 1,500 contribution points to Lu Yun using his token, and the matter was temporarily resolved. After taking back his token, Lu Yun asked, Senior brother Duan, do you know any way to get pill recipes? Duan Qing shook his head directly. Even the lowest grade pill recipes are precious and won't easily appear on the market. I am just a minor true Qi realm disciple, and not qualified to get in touch with such precious and scarce items like pill recipes. Hearing this, Lu Yun's eyebrows furrowed. Is there any other way? Of course, there is more than one way, Duan Qing said. Oh, tell me quickly. Lu Yun seemed anxious. Duan Qing didn't beat around the bush and slowly said, the first is to participate in auctions. Every year, the Spirit Martial Prefecture holds an auction where various treasures, including spiritual pills, cultivation martial arts, divine weapons, and so on, appear. Pill recipes also occasionally show up, but even the lowest grade pill recipes require at least dozens or even hundreds of spirit crystals. That expensive? Lu Yun was also taken aback. Of course. The lowest grade first grade pill recipe can only be used to refine first grade pills, but this represents a kind of inheritance, the inheritance of alchemists. Once a family has a pill recipe, they have the opportunity to cultivate their own alchemist, Duan Qing analyzed. Lu Yun asked, somewhat puzzled, but that's just a first grade alchemist. What use is that? A first grade alchemist is indeed not very useful, but as long as one becomes a first grade alchemist, they can register with the Dan Shur Alliance and become a member, enjoying various benefits from the alliance. Dan Shur Alliance. Hearing this name, information about the Dan Shur Alliance quickly surfaced in Lu Yun's mind, as if flipping through a book. The Dan Shur Alliance is also considered one of Meridian's official institutions. However, the Dan Shur Alliance is not as rigid as the Sky Patrol Office or Observatory Hall. It is a more loosely organized institution with more freedom for its members. The headquarters of the Dan Shur Alliance is in the Central Province, and it has branches in all states and counties. Moreover, 70 to 80% of the pills in Morijin are from the Dan Shur Alliance. Flying Spirit Martial Academy does not have any alchemists, and the pills in the Pill Medicine Building all come from the Dan Shur Alliance. In each county, the Dan Shur Alliance's status is similar to that of the Martial Academy, even higher than the governor's mansion. Withdrawing his thoughts, Lu Yun asked again, apart from auctions, what's the other way to get pill recipes? Duan Qing smiled. It's very simple. Just find an alchemist to learn from, or simply seize it by force. Chapter 102, Chapter 102, Chapter 102, Gathering at the Black Boat. Chapter 102, Chapter 102, Gathering at the Black Boat. Hearing that the second option was to find an alchemist as a master, Lu Yun immediately shook his head. Not to mention whether he could find an alchemist, it was still unknown if they would be willing to accept him as a disciple. Simply speaking, for Lu Yun, becoming a disciple was impossible. He had the panel. He only needed energy value to upgrade, and there was no need for a master to impart teachings and knowledge. Moreover, suddenly having a master would be like having an additional variable, and if he wasn't careful, it could expose his secret. B0XO. So, from the beginning, in terms of martial arts or other things, he had never considered becoming a disciple. Becoming a disciple was not an option, and killing for treasure was unreliable. In this case, the only way to obtain a pill recipe was through an auction. With this in mind, Lu Yun asked, how long is it until the auction? There's about half a year left. Having spoken so much with Lu Yun, Duan Qing's mood had improved quite a bit, and he half-jokingly said, if junior brother Lu really wants to participate in the auction, prepare well in advance. Otherwise you'll be left empty-handed when you see the object of your desire. Of course. Before leaving, Lu Yun felt that he should say something more. After thinking for a while, he spoke in a calm tone. Only by fully focusing on cultivation can one easily break through bottlenecks. Also, if you ever need help, feel free to come to me. Duan Qing was stunned for a moment before breaking into a smile. All right. After leaving Duan Qing, Lu Yun went to the Pill Medicine Building and exchanged 3 bottles of Profound Origin pills before returning to his residence. In the cultivation room, after refining the 3 bottles of Profound Origin pills, the energy value on the panel once again broke through the 1,000 mark. 1,681 energy value. Seeing so many energy values, Lu Yun's eyes flickered with faint light, discovered that breaking wind saber technique and gentle breeze waning moonblade can be fused. Fusion consumes 650 energy values. Lu Yun's mind stirred as he saw the message on the gentle breeze waning moonblade fusion panel. His energy value was instantly consumed by 650. At the same time, the breaking wind saber technique and gentle breeze waning moonblade on the martial arts column of the panel disappeared. Shortly after, a vast memory appeared in the depths of his mind. Lu Yun had already experienced this, and he quickly absorbed the memory. Flowing wind sky dance. Lu Yun murmured softly, unable to hide the astonishment in his eyes. Flowing wind sky dance was the new martial art formed by the fusion of breaking wind saber technique and gentle breeze waning moonblade. In his memory, flowing wind sky dance was directly at the entry level. Furthermore, the original memories of breaking wind saber technique and gentle breeze waning moonblade did not disappear, but were simply removed from the panel. Flowing wind sky dance was both a complete saber technique and a single move saber technique. Indeed, the fusion of breaking wind saber technique and gentle breeze waning moonblade produced flowing wind sky dance, a single move 100 flowers. Flowing wind sky dance could also be called 100 flowers, flowing wind sky dance. Name: Lu Yun Force Flying Spirit Martial Academy. Martial Arts. 7 Kill Saber Technique. Reach profound, cannot be promoted. Black Tiger Saber Technique. Perfection, cannot be promoted. Eastern Windbreak. Entry level 1%, can be fused. Flowing Wind Sky Dance. 100 Flowers. Entry level 1%, can be fused. Gale Thunder Flash Step. Great accomplishment 70%. Pure Yang Martial Arts Canon. True Chi Chapter. Small achievement 1%. Innate talent. Level 6 martial arts. True Chi realm, 3 refinements. Energy value, 1031, increases by 1 every 2 days. Conception, slaughter conception, first rank 10%. Opening the fusion panel. Lu Yun's eyebrows furrowed slightly, and his face had an indescribable sense of helplessness. To fuse Eastern Windbreak with Flowing Wind Sky Dance, the required energy value was a staggering 1,500. This value had completely exceeded his expectations and his limits, causing him to give up on the idea of further fusion for the time being. Considering the current situation, one can only upgrade Flowing Wind Sky Dance first. After closing the fusion and panel, Lu Yun calmed his mind, focusing on Flowing Wind Sky Dance, and began to upgrade. Spending the entry level of Flowing Wind Sky Dance cost 3 energy values per training progress. To upgrade it to small achievement, 300 energy values were consumed. Without stopping, Lu Yun continued to upgrade and planned to use up all his energy values. After an hour, Lu Yun had fully absorbed and digested the memories in his mind. At the same time, he found that his understanding of saber arts had deepened, as if he had practiced for more than 10 years. He felt a surge of pride, and the urge to wield his blade to break mountains and split seas overwhelmed him. After a long while, he finally suppressed this impulse. His attention fell on the panel. Martial arts, Flowing Wind Sky Dance, 100 flowers, perfection 13%, confuse, energy value 1, an increase of 1 every 2 days. To enhance from the small achievement level to the great accomplishment level, 600 energy values are consumed. From the initial entry into perfection, increasing to 13% perfection, his energy value had finally been completely depleted. Putting away the panel, Lu Yun temporarily had no intention of continuing to cultivate. After a round of fusion and enhancement, his spiritual power and physical energy had been significantly consumed. Moreover, As the time was already late, Lu Yun decided not to cultivate any further. He left the cultivation room, went to the bath area to wash himself in cold water, and then returned to his bedroom to lie down and rest. The next day, he woke up even before the break of dawn. First, he refined pure, yang aggressive aura for 2 hours, and then practiced saber techniques for an hour. Xiao Chen also arrived as planned, silently entering his courtyard. "Are you ready? The black boat will leave in an hour. I've been waiting for you." Lu Yun put away his 100 scales purple gold saber into its sheath. "All right, let's go." Xiao Chen's figure moved, flying out of the courtyard. "Hey, there's nothing wrong with the door." Lu Yun complained. His figure moved, leaving an afterimage in place. As for the entrance of the small building at number 3358, representing the Star Palace disciples, it had never made a sound of opening or closing throughout. Flying Spirit Plaza. 5 enormous and magnificent ships were hovering several dozen feet above the ground. There are actually 5 black boats. Lu Yun couldn't help but exclaim in surprise. Martial Academy recruits disciples in 2 ways: small recruitment once a year and grand recruitment once every 5 years. As someone who had accepted the task, Xiao Chen knew the specifics and explained, "This time is the once every 5 years recruitment assessment, not limited to the 10+ surrounding counties of Spirit Martial Prefecture, but covering the entire Spirit Martial Prefecture's territory." So that's the case. No wonder one felt the number of recruited disciples last time was so small. This time we're given the task of overseeing Eastfield County's disciple recruitment assessment. We need to take the number 5 mysterious ship. Let's go first. Okay. With a light jump, the 2 landed on the black boat, hovering 10 feet above the ground. At this moment, more than 10 people were already on the boat. Lu Yun and Xiao Chen were among the last to arrive. One of them glanced coldly at Xiao Chen and turned his body to the side. Seeing this, Lu Yun looked at Xiao Chen. "Do you know him?" "Not really. I met him when accepting the task. His name is Li something, just a clown." "Oh, what's the story?" Lu Yun immediately became interested. "The number of people needed for the disciple recruitment assessment task is limited. One took my spot from him. However, I don't know how he got the task later." The 2 chatted, completely unafraid of Li Yilin. Li Yilin sneered. "Humph, you just won by luck. Don't be too proud. If you and I were enemies, one move would have been enough to take your life." Xiao Chen said coldly, not putting his opponent in his eyes. Li Yilin was suddenly angry but couldn't refute. Meanwhile, their quarrel attracted the attention of others. One older disciple came over to mediate. "Both of you, the matter has already passed. Since everyone has been given the task, let's put the past behind us, so as not to harm the relationship between fellow brothers." Seeing this person, a flash of wariness appeared in Li Yilin's eyes, and he said coldly, "So be it, I will give Brother Zhang some face." This person was named Zhang Jiha, accomplished true Qi9 refinements, and was just a step away from the transforming origin realm. He was the strongest among them. Zhang Jiha walked over to Xiao Chen and smiled. "Junior Brother Xiao, how about you?" "I don't mind." Xiao Chen was as calm as ever. "Haha, that's right. As fellow Martial Academy disciples, we should get along well and support each other after leaving the academy." Then Zhang Zai's gaze fell on Lu Yun and smiled. "This junior brother looks unfamiliar. Are you the newly promoted Star Palace disciple, Lu Yun?" "That's right. You have good eyes, senior brother." Lu Yun slightly raised his fist. "Good. From now on, we brothers will support each other." After exchanging pleasantries, Zhang Jiha returned to his original position. After 2 more people boarded the ship, and about 10 minutes had passed, the black boat slowly started.